Here. Ready to start?
This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council. I call to order this Haslet City Council meeting on Monday, July 20th at 7 p.m. We do have a quorum of 3 members of the council present, and Mayor Pro Tem Morrow is present online. Mayor Pro Tem, can you say a word so that we can test the audio?
Sure thing. Testing. Can you hear me?
That's good. Thank you. All right. If you will bow your heads with me, I'll offer an invocation and then stand with me for a pledge of allegiance. Thank you, Almighty Father, for your many blessings. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your love. We ask that for your continued presence with us as we work through our city governance. Be with our state leaders as they work through all the many topics they address, and be with our United States government. We thank you for your many blessings. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Item 3 says of participation and comments. Do we have any speakers signed up?
Yes, we have one in person and one email that was received. The first in person is Sandra Smith.
Ms. Smith.
Sandra Smith, 300 Gamble Street. I'm here tonight to talk about item 8E, the elected and appointed officials relations policy. And I see that it was initially put in place in 2013, and it appears it's been completely rewritten. And I didn't see which council member brought that forward. I didn't know if just the staff did it or if there was a council member, but the name was neglected to put on there. I just want to bring your attention to the ethics and conflict of interest policy, which should go hand in hand with this. So since it's not, I'm assuming that it's staying in place. But I would like to say that I think it needs to stay in place. And whoever wanted to look at that, at this policy, which is a resolution, maybe needs to look at that ordinance that has ethics and conflict of interest. It's been in place quite some time too. And I'd like to speak to 8I, this censure of the mayor. Now, they don't know I'm going to say this, but, you know, I respect the mayor quite a bit. He's elected. It matters. It's important. And I would expect y'all to pay him respect also. And I've gotten to know Mr. Ashton. He didn't know I was going to say this. I like him a lot. He's experienced. We're lucky to have him. But I think there seems to be a conflict that everybody gets to know about in the newspaper. And it's embarrassing. And I think y'all are doing it. I'm not talking about the mayor. I'm not talking about Mr. Ashton. I'm talking about our city council. But y'all need to cool it and get down to the business at hand, because I have some serious issues where I live So cut it out, please, and get down to business. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Do we have another speaker?
Not in person, but it's just one email.
And I would ask you to get close to the mic.
Yes. Sorry, my fingers wouldn't let me flip the page. It's from Stephanie Grace. It says, Dear Council, I would like to request that all 5 of you denounce the bridge survey that has been circulating online. A distributor has claimed that the results will be sent, but the statements above about each bridge are biased and worded to elicit a specific response. Moreover, yesterday, they were actively seeking 10 individuals who had answered a particular way to correct their entries, indicating that the results could be manipulated. I urge those of you on the council who are aware of this to denounce it immediately to prevent further sabotage of our city. Those of you in positions of authority are aware of the individuals involved. Please take immediate action to stop this. Inform the residents that you did not send the survey to TxDOT and NCT COG, and remove yourselves from the Facebook groups associated with it.
Thank you, Ms. Grace, for the comment. Do we have any others?
No, sir.
Do we have anybody in the chambers? Do we have anybody online?
No, sir.
All right, let's move to item 4, community items of community interest. Our reading club, summer reading club, Hazlet Public Library will continue through Friday, July 31st. Visit Summer Reading Club on our website. It's a great program. You'll enjoy it. 4B City Council budget workshops are currently scheduled to take place August 1st and August 8th, and is posted online, the proposed budget, for your viewing. Item 5, administrative reports. Council, do you have any questions on the administrative reports?
Actually, do you know the time for the budget workshops?
Probably convene at 9 o'clock. The agenda hadn't been, with the times have not been posted. Most likely 9 o'clock. That's approximate, subject to change,
Okay, what
up or
about?
down.
Got it.
No questions on the administrative reports. Let's go to item 6. Updates on active items. Nance, paving and drainage. Mr. Tucker and/or Mr. Rogers, you want to address this?
Sir, good evening, Mayor and Council. We can go ahead and go to that second slide there. Just a handful of updates on active projects. One that wasn't listed there, but we wanted to let you know, we've already had the pre-construction meeting just on the 17th. This is for the City Hall and the fire station generators, so that project's gotten started. They'll be, they've called in locates, and they're gonna start working on some of the conduit and that sort of thing, and the pads. And then we're looking at a delivery date of those generators for the fire station, August 13th, and October 26th for City Hall. But the intent is to have everything ready to set those on top of conduit and things like that. And they have a projected into that project, and these functional by December 1st. Next slide.
Very good.
May I just ask a quick question?
Sir.
You said 2 generators scheduled for delivery. Isn't one of them being repurposed from somewhere?
The one here on site is going to be repurposed for Public Works.
For Public Works, okay.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
basically, we, instead of having 2 separate generators for City Hall and the library, they just sized it up, have one generator that handles the complex here, and then the existing one will be repurposed for Public Works.
So the one here and the one at the fire station are new, and this one's going to Public Works?
Correct. And the one at the fire station, we intend, given its age, to probably auction off will be most likely what happens to that one.
Thank you.
Slide. This is just a couple extra pictures from Nance Field. I think y'all saw the paving done last time. This is some of the walking path. They haven't done some of the final grading or taken some material off. There's still work to be done, but they are starting cleaning up around that. In the background there, you can see they've put in the handrails. Next slide. I got a couple extra pictures. Like today, they're actually blowing and cleaning all that off. They should be striping, I believe, next week or late this week. That's also the approach that was poured I think that's all that was done since the last meeting there, but that project is moving right along, and they have an anticipated open date of July 31st.
Well, on that, the bottom, the left picture, I guess on the south side, right now, there looks like there's a curb and gutter on that. So will there be one on that side, or is it just going to be?
No, it is for drainage purposes, that's
Drainage.
left open. So there will be wheel stops put in, striping,
Okay.
but it is made to shed and drain off that direction.
Okay.
So on our Maxwell Circle groundwater remediation project, this is some pictures from before that you'd seen previously when we brought this to you. As you can see, that was water standing in those ditch lines, and it's pretty. The one on the right was a pretty steady flow of water running through that area. Next slide. As you look today, that's a similar area, and as you can see in the right two pictures, that's pretty much completely dried up. On the left picture, we do believe that the local water company there has a slightly at a valve. They've been notified area from the extent of that project has dried out. So that engineered solution does seem like it worked as expected. Next slide. This added here, it is on a loop here, but this is basically right as they got down to grade and they broke through that compacted area. That was the amount of water just, flowing through that ditch line. So they reconnected that gravel. As you can see, that water is to the right there is sinking down into that and finding its way out. And we did verify in the channel that runs behind that area that water was flowing through there again like it should have. So it was a pretty substantial amount, and it was, like I said, it was pretty abrupt when you dug through that section. As soon as they clawed through there, the water started coming out to that degree and stayed running the entire time. So that was all filled with gravel, and like I said, everything on the surface is drying out. Slide.
So this will flow underground.
Yes, sir.
It'll continue to flow, but flow as intended.
Correct. It's following that
Yeah.
gravel path. We have verified behind, basically in that area behind Maxwell and behind Sweetgrass, there's a drainage channel that runs through there. As soon as that was restored, a significant amount of water is now running through that flume, and that's really as intended. This is also on the site. They're already repairing the driveways. This was the area they cut out to make that connection. And you see, it looks like a very clean job site, and it's, from what we can tell, the homeowners in the areas are pleased with the progress so far. We'll be doing the remaining driveways. That's a separate contractor that should be coming in. We have a pre-con with them, I believe it's next week. And they'll be going on site to do the last of the final grading and grass work, things like that, in the remaining driveways. Next slide. For the fire station, I got just some updated interior pictures. Like I said, basically it's lots of interior finish out. The AC systems are on and working, and I just have several pictures of just progress on that site. Again, this is they're doing work on the doors, things like that. Next slide. Next slide. Lots of shots from the inside. Cabinet work. I think that might be, okay, back up one there. Go back up to that previous slide. Okay, and so that's progress that's happening so far there.
Do we have any update on the timeline for completion, or is that going to come later?
Timeline for completion, I do not have an update. Did you have?
They're still saying around August 19th.
Yeah.
That's an estimate.
And that may move
Yesterday.
depending on our remediation work.
And then if you can go to the agenda item for the next update. Oh, before we move on, was there any other questions on those projects?
I got a question on something, but after you get done with all these, I'll ask you.
The next item is our update for our Public Works building. If you can kind of zoom out to that one so at the last update, we had talked about location, and it was desired that we move that location further to the east there. So as we looked at that, Richard, I don't know if you can zoom in sort of, mouse kind of further up, just down right there. You can zoom into that area right there. So as we were looking at this location here, trying to get everything to fit in there. It's a larger file. So if you look at all those lines, flags there, and how it basically goes over that existing gas haul road. So all those lines are gathering lines. I believe they're belong to two different gas companies, and ultimately they run all the way through that gas haul road. So the gas haul road is an easement, and it says built and belongs to the gas company. So to our current site, we have access all the way through there, and we utilize the gas haul road currently, but to build something permanent on it, that's going to have to go through a process of asking them. Traditionally, they're not going to let you build something permanent over an easement that they own, specifically with gas lines underneath it. The assumption is they're going to make us relocate those gas lines if we wanted to build a permanent access. There's also an issue with building it to a city standard, making it the correct width. And so because of that, we looked at what it would look like if we did a different access to the front here. So what was being proposed, and if you can zoom back out to a bigger area. So what's being suggested here is right there at the south property line of those tract here, that an access would be built and reach our site here, having parking right there in front of the site that'd be sectioned off by gate, and there'd be access to that office building there. And in addition, there'd be water and sewer ran along there. So that was the other advantage of doing this, is that it could potentially provide water and sewer to other areas as opposed to ours that would only provide water and sewer to our side. Now, this solves one challenge as far as getting things built to standard, not having to do with the unknown of dealing with moving or working around gas lines, but it does come at a cost to do that. So we had engineering give a probable cost of construction, and it does add a significant portion to what was suggested before. So I have it here. For this solution here, the probable cost of construction was $5,180,000. I believe the majority of that extra million there is that road to be constructed. It'd be constructed as asphalt. Now, with that being said, there is opportunities to find cheaper methods to construct that road, but based on not knowing if things like county ILAs or things could be eligible for this is the cost of what it would take to construct that if we're paying it, if we're bidding it out and paying a contractor to do that portion. We wanted to at least show this as an option of what could be done to access this without having to relocate gas lines or look at creative solutions to get over them. If we can zoom in on the site, we did like the total layout here. We tried to kind of give you a good feel of how that would look if we went with this point of access. So the area to the left there, that would be used for the current brush pile that we collect. So it would be fenced in and behind that gate. It would allow us to have pretty much the same area we have now to basically drop off and process limbs and everything in that side to the left, but it would also keep it isolated where we wouldn't have stuff dropped off without us, knowing about it. It also shows that we had them to verify that we could get an 18-wheeler in there for deliveries. That's the current problem on our current site. It's very hard to get any kind of delivery in and out of that 1-acre site. And we just make sure that we can get that truck in there and unloaded, things like that. And basically, as you see, it's an office building up there at front. That's where that parking lot would service. To the right would be the warehouse. That's where we basically store any of the city's needs, from park board to library. And then that building there behind it would be the equipment store.
So y'all took off the fourth building y'all had before because of the radius for the trucks?
In the previous one, we've only ever had 3
Oh.
we ever proposed here. In the original iteration, it did not have an office building as a part of this. It had a material containment. It was a place to store material covered. And we felt the need was greater to have the office building and the other two, and the other one could come at a later date. The original plan would eventually incorporate an expansion to a larger building, and it would be, we suggest it could either go in front of that office building or to the east there on that other side between the gas well, but that could be a site for a larger facility. But this is a layout we thought would fit and work for Public Works and Building Services. Is there any questions or thoughts on this layout?
So the last time we talked about it, it was tucked a little further up to the left corner there.
Correct. It was even with the gas pad site. We pulled it back and moved it over, and we just put that brush and limb area, which is really between the gas well and the gas line. There's not a lot of anything permanent that can be built on it. So to maximize that space, we just show a fenced-in area there. That little triangle would function.
So when a citizen comes in to drop off their brush, are they still going to be using the gravel drive? Because I don't see how they get there off of the,
They would use, if you can zoom out, they would use the new constructed road.
so they would go through the gate into the gravel,
Automatic gate that isolated that,
into where you have the 18-wheeler
correct.
thing? That's where they drop off there?
Yeah, they would
Okay.
come down that road,
Yeah,
past those parking spaces, that
Right.
gate would be open during that event. They would come in, we would unload all that there, they would leave back out. And
So-
we would,
so the majority of your new cost is because you're building this second road now,
correct.
Okay. all the way to schoolhouse?
Yes, that's the additional, I mean, and there's a considerable addition there. It would run, I mean, we still have to run sewer line for this site no matter what. So the sewer line cost would be the same, but it would not service anybody else off that section. I mean, we currently are on basically a 2-inch lift station. This would be for a proper sewer line to ran down there.
And is the edge of the property the edge of this picture at the bottom, or does it go further down?
There's an additional property to the south, but that is on the property line that the city currently owns, yes.
Okay. So this almost takes out the whole width at this point?
As far as for the road, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. We have the Avondale Hassett Road, Hassett Parkway in grade separation. Two items to address on that. One is the Avondale Hassett Road, Hassett Parkway with a grade separation. Was updated today. Is that Kimley Horn has submitted their contract to TxDOT with regard to this. TxDOT is assessing when that will be let to Kimley Horn for them to begin their work.
And what does their work specifically? What work?
Their work will entail everything from I-35 to the western city limits of Haslett, Texas.
Okay,
All aspects of it,
okay.
inclusive of a grade separation.
Both bridges? Or
The short bridge, specifically
the
the
short
short
bridge?
bridge.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And again, the Long Bridge, the Chrissy grant was submitted successfully, and that is being awaited. There is no announcement as to when U.S. Department of Transportation will announce the grants. If that were to be awarded, North Central Texas Council of Governments and TxDOT have stated that they would select the Long Bridge should that become available.
Mr. Mayor,
That is all the updates we have on that. Yes.
a few weeks ago when Mr. Jeff Neal was here, he said he would give us a copy of the Chrissy grant before it got released. I don't think we ever got a copy of that.
Yes, sir, you did.
We did? Okay.
It was emailed.
Okay, okay. I must have missed it.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Neal sent it to me, and I sent it to you that morning.
Okay.
So it is, check your inbox.
Okay.
And then just for general awareness, we don't have an exact date for Chrissy Grant Award, but in past years, it's been around September, October timeframe, just for people to understand.
Yes. And, you know, there's hope that they might do it before the November elections. For various reasons. Nonetheless, item 7.
Can
is
I ask Mr. Tucker a question? Before
With
we move on?
with regard to,
A project that's going on in town, can I ask him, it's not on here, but can I ask him a question about update before we move on?
well, we should be addressing items that are on this agenda, is what we should be. Even the updates should be on this agenda. So I'm going to say as no. Feel free after the meeting, go ask Mr. Tucker, or ask him to include it on the next agenda.
Okay.
Item 7 is your consent agenda, council. You have the approval of your regular city council meeting minutes for July 6, 2026. And then you have, I believe it is 7, excuse me, no, it is 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6 PIDs. They are in the same order and fashion. They have been for years, been no deviations. So do I have any questions on your consent agenda? If not, I have a, please have a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes and 7B through 7G as presented.
Very good. So you approve the consent agenda as presented.
Yes.
Motion's been made to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a second? There's a second. All in favor? 3,
Aye.
4, 4. Thank you. Item 8. 8A, hold a public hearing, discuss, consider, and act on the site and landscape plans on approximately 6.7467 acres on Lot 1, Block 1 of Haslett Crossing, East Addition. Mr. Schwanke.
Mayor and members of the council, this is something where you've seen preliminary plats, final plats, for this subdivision for the Encompass Rehabilitation Hospital. And the P&Z recommended approval, but they had 3 comments on it. They were all concerning the lighting of it. And that was to have the lighting should be shielded at the horizontal. In other words, you come down with the shields, and from the horizontal, that's where the light would go. And 0 light spillage at the property line, and then the maximum pole height of 15 foot. The applicant is in the audience tonight, and he will address that just a little bit as far as the lighting. And they don't necessarily have a problem with it. It's just that when you go to 15 foot rather than a 20-foot light pole, you're going to double the number of light poles that you have in the, yes?
I would ask that you direct Richard to pull up whatever plan you would like to show as you discuss this or present this.
You can pull up the photometric plan. Sideways, but this is a copy of the photometric plan. It's going to be a little bit hard to read, but on the original one, there was a little bit of light spillage along the edge, but the property is surrounded by other commercial properties and a large distance between before you get to any residential. And the applicant will speak to that during the public hearing phase of this. If you have any questions, yes.
You said there's a large, the hospital is going to be between the parking lot and Caraway? Is that what you mean?
There's going to be another row of buildings between the hospital and Pask Drive, and then
Okay.
Caraway.
So the concern from P&Z is that there's light spillage that might end up at the neighborhood. Is that correct?
That is correct, but when you look at...
We don't care about Haslett Parkway. We don't care about going towards Harmon Road. We don't care about going towards the warehouse. We're concerned about Caraway.
Yes, and that was their concern too, but when you get to the edge of the south edge of the property, which is the closest to Caraway,
Right.
the light spillage onto the adjacent property was minimal, but they'd
Okay.
like to see that go to zero.
P and Z would like it to go to zero.
P&Z, yes.
Okay.
Even though there's gonna be another row of buildings potentially in between Caraway and the Encompass Hospital.
Because the Encompass Hospital is going to be further towards Hazlet Parkway, is that correct?
It's gonna be right on Hazlet Parkway.
Okay, and then the parking lot will be to the south of that?
They're gonna have parking on all three sides.
All
Well,
three sides?
actually, all four sides.
Okay. And then another row of like retail or something like that,
Retail.
kind of on Pass Drive?
Medical office buildings.
Yeah, something.
Which would be a substantial blocking of
Right.
any kind of light that would be over that way.
So could they have the higher light poles that are further north towards the building? And then when the new row of buildings come in, have the lower light poles? Would that look odd? Or, I'm trying to figure out like, how could we, is there a compromise or no? We have to do it all one way or all the other?
You can do a compromise, but I would rather have the engineer on the project speak to that.
Sorry.
And he is here in the audience.
Well, I completely agree, and I think, I don't know about the other councilman, but we want to protect Caraway as much as we can, so.
Absolutely. But on the other hand, I don't want the parking lots to look like a forest of
Sure.
light poles.
Sure. Yeah, we have to find a good solution.
On the south side lighting, and the south side being the plan right. I will make a note on the plan left, which is north. That's incorrect. Avondale Hassett Road is Hassett Parkway. So if they could change that, that would be good. Is that, are they going to incorporate shielding on their lighting?
Yes.
Good. That's going to help a great deal.
I will,
And these are, Cobra head type lights. It's not omnidirectional.
No, they're not. They're gonna be shielded, like I say, on all
right.
sides. So it's down lighting. So it'll splash over in the parking lot, but not past the property line.
Very good.
And I presume there's no concern with Alliance Airport approaches or anything like that with this lighting? Or the height, or any of those things? Okay.
I will say, as a Caraway resident, because I've looked at this and I walk this frequently, I personally am excited to have lighting and don't mind slight spillage as long as it's not reaching the properties back there, which from what I can tell, it's not going to, but we'll let him speak to that here in a minute. There's a lot of people, especially children, playing in that land right now on motorbikes and everything else at night. And when you're walking that way, it's very dark right now. I honestly think lighting, especially on the Hazlet Parkway and that private road, is going to be beneficial for the community as a whole, personally.
What about the houses that back up there? Do any of those property owners voice concern about there being light in their backyard, roughly?
They haven't yet. I do want to hear from him. That backside, I think, is the only thing I personally have questions for is, is that spillage going to even make it that far? I mean, that's a pretty significant difference.
Yeah, across the road.
Yeah, it's not even just across the road. It's across.
There's a walkway too, yeah.
It's the whole double side of the lot, because this is all the way north.
Right.
So you have the entire back property.
Right.
Let me ask Mr. Anderson, you're going to speak are you comfortable speaking on photometrics? That's.
Absolutely not, but Mr. Mackey over here represents the.
All right. Please come up, address the photometric map. And your name again?
Matt Mackey with Kinley Horn. I'm the photometric man, I guess. 100 West Oak Street, Suite 203, Denton, Texas. I represent Encompass Health, so we've done these developments all throughout Texas. I can speak to the photometrics perspective. So the original site plan that we submitted, the original photometrics, there was 28 total light poles. Our typical light pole height is the pole itself is 25 feet and it sits on a 2.5-foot base. So the total height to the top of pole is 27.5 feet. That's what a typical light pole is that we do in many jurisdictions. We looked at the photometric update of what P&Z recommended, and that would put the total light poles up to north of 60 light poles. We have requirements that we have to meet in the fire lane and the parking stalls to illuminate them enough from a safety perspective. To your question about the lumens on the south side of the property, so this southern property line is hundreds of feet away from Pask in the Caraway neighborhood. The landscape, or the photometric plan that was submitted to P&Z, the total lumens at that south property line was anywhere between 0.2 lumens and 0.6 lumens. From a factor of scale perspective, anywhere between 1/2 lumen and 1 lumen is a full moon of light. So it's not like we're proposing a boatload of light at that property line. And furthermore, that lumen measurement is at the southern property line of the Encompass Health site, not all the way at Pask. I could pull the exact dimension, but it's hundreds of feet. It's 300, 400, 500 feet from that southern property line all the way to Pask. I 100% agree with the horizontal facing, no directional light. I guess our ask would be is if we could not be restricted on the height. And on the spillage perspective, I mean, we can lay it out to have zero spillage on the property lines, but being that the west adjacent property line is the detention pond, the east adjacent property line is future commercial development, and the south is future commercial development. I feel like the lumens proposed at the property line are pretty negligible. We could update the photometrics if y'all wanted to show zero at Pask, but I'm very confident there's zero lumens at Pask.
What's the maximum that you would propose?
So the ones we have right now, it varies between 0.2 and 0.6, and then once you get up to Hazlitt Parkway, there's one section that's at 1.6 lumens all the way up at Hazlitt Parkway. Council Member Jasmine's point, I mean, that's going to be at a future sidewalk and providing.
I think the primary concern is on the south side of this property.
So the max there would be less than 1 lumen or 0.5. Either of those works for us.
I think if you're, say you're 400 to 500 feet from your property line to Pask, and there's also going to be commercial development between your property line and Pask, then the next commercial development's going to be more affected than the homeowners in Caraway are. So I think they're not even going to have a difference. I think Caraway's to be worried about the next commercial development that comes in, not yours. So I would approve whatever you propose. That I don't want to shrink lights and go from 20-something to 60 light poles. That's going to be.
It's going to look like a light farm.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
I agree.
What maximum pole height do you?
27.5 foot would be what we're proposing as per plan. It's a 25-foot pole on top of a 2.5-foot base.
If you were a lot closer to Pask, then I would say let's change it. But you're so far away, it's not going to affect.
I agree.
So,
Mr. Schwanke, you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you all for your time.
This time I will open up the public hearing at 7:37 p.m. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this topic, pro or con? Is there anybody online?
No, sir.
There's no one online and no one in the chambers. I close this public hearing at 7:38 p.m. Council, it's to you. Discuss, consider, act on the approval of this site and landscape plan.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to propose that we accept the presentation as given, stay at their current 27 feet light pole height without further requirements.
All
On the
right, just a
lighting.
point of clarification, I think he said 27.5 feet.
Okay, 27.5.
27.5 feet. And
With the
lighting will
shielding.
be shielded at the horizontal.
Yes.
And zero light spillage, that went to what, 0.5 lumens, did you say?
So would that be at which property line, all property lines?
The south
Just the
property
south
line
line.
is the
If
focus.
we could do 1 lumen at the south property line, that would, I mean, the photometric show a 0.7. I would like to show 1 lumen at the south property line.
We okay with that? Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Wanky, 1 lumen.
I'm good with that.
All right, so would you restate your motion to include the 27.5 maximum pole height and the 1 lumen on the maximum on the south property line.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the presentation with a 27.5-foot pole, 1 lumen on the south property line, and horizontal shielding for the lights.
Very good. Motion has been made to approve the site and landscape plan. There is, lighting shall be shielded at the horizontal. On the south property line is a maximum of 1 lumen, and the maximum pole height is 27.5 feet. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Mayor Pro Tem.
Aye.
4-4. Thank you. B, discuss, consider, and act regarding a community facilities agreement, CFA, between the City of Haslett and Encompass Health Texas Real Estate LLC for the Encompass Health Haslett Lot 1, Block 2, Haslett Crossing East Edition. Mr. Swanky?
Mayor, before you start, I noticed this today. It should be Block 1, not Block 2. That's my error.
All right, please note a Scribner's error in the agenda item. Item 8B, where it states Encompass Health Haslett Lot 1, Block 2. That should be Block 1. So your agenda item is Block 1, Haslett Crossing East Edition. Mr. Schwanke.
Actually, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Anderson. He's the one that worked on the CFA.
Passing the buck.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. What we've got before you is a standard CFA document covering the public facilities associated with this project, the project that we just discussed the site plan for. Richard, if you could please pull up the site plan for us. And so on this project, we've got a, beginning at the top of the sheet there, kind of off-site, there's a 8-inch water line connection that would come off their property through Mr. Pedigo's remainder property, tie into a public looped line around the facility. They have a manhole and a 40-foot stick of pipe to put in.
Can you pause just 1 minute?
Yes.
Can you get this graphic corrected? Give us just a moment.
Yes, sir.
And I would like to take this time if IT or Public Works could update our Adobe license so we can rotate these images. Thank you. We can get that done post-haste. That would be appreciated.
So minimal public improvements on this, right? Haslett Parkway is constructed. They're not adjacent to Harmon Road or proposing access to Harmon Road.
Excuse me, is this all the, okay, there we go.
And that, yep, that scale will work. So if you'll recall from the preliminary plat, there's 2 driveways proposed onto the facility off of Haslett Parkway. There will be a future right-hand turn lane constructed by others as the remaining parcels in the area develop. So really, the public improvements encompassed in the agreement before you this evening cover the cost of the driveway connections, cost of the public water line, and the minor work associated with the sewer line. And so the purpose of this agreement is to memorialize the responsibilities of the developer and the city as it relates to the public improvements, outline their responsibilities and roles, ensure that the plans are prepared by a licensed professional engineer, reviewed by the city engineer, approved in accordance with your subdivision ordinance. Adequate fees for plan review and inspection are collected and remitted prior to construction. So these folks have began work with the on-site dirt work today. Mr. Rogers informed me of that, so they're moving forward with the grading. This is really the last step in the process for them to move forward with construction of their project. So pretty minimal contents in the CFA. I've done my best to describe the public facilities. I don't know if there's,
All right, council, do you have any questions with regard to the CFA? That's what this item's about, CFA. Very good. May I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve 8B as stated with the correction to Lot 1, Block 1.
I assume you're making a motion to approve the community facilities agreement between City of Haslett and Encompass Health Texas Real Estate LLC for the Encompass Health Haslett Lot 1, Block 1, Haslett Crossing East Edition. Did I get that correct?
Correct?
Very good. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There is a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4-4. Passes. Thank you. 8C, discuss and enter an act, discuss, consider an act on ratifying an agreement with ERI Consulting for providing a mold remediation protocol and clearance sampling services for mold remediation at the fire station expansion project. And as you are aware, there was unintended water infiltration in the project through roof openings, and that caused some visible mold. That's what brought it to our attention, plus also noting it was observed that there was water on the floor, there was wet sheetrock, and observed that there was some roof insulation that had filled with water as well. We had previously, the council approved a ERI, mold remediation mold consultant to come out and do a preliminary assessment, of which they did, and determined that a mold remediation protocol needed to be written so that proper remediation of the mold and excess moisture could be removed, and to keep the project moving. Otherwise, we would be stopping construction. That's not a good thing. So I took that liberty to go ahead and sign that, and that's what this ratification is for. That agreement was for $1,680 and taken out of that project line item. And we have already received that invoice, in fact, for $1,680. So I ask that you ratify what I have already executed.
So this mold remediation, are we going to get reimbursed for that?
Yes.
Okay. You just didn't say that, so I wanted to make sure.
That is, well, we'll be submitting to the contractor for that reimbursement, yes.
Okay. Well, then
All I need is a motion.
Well, then I need to, I make a motion to approve, ratify the agreement with ERI Consulting for providing a mold remediation protocol and clearance sampling services for the mold remediation of the fire expansion project.
Motion is made to ratify the agreement with the ERI Consulting for providing the mold remediation protocol and clearance sampling services for mold remediation at the fire station expansion project. Is there a second? There is a second. That was Councilman Gilbert. That's seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous, 4-0. Thank you, council. 8D, discuss, consider, and act regarding an appeal of denied vendor's permit to locate a vending unit on property located at 1195 FM 156 to operate as One Bite Tacos. Mr. Tucker.
Mayor and council, Mike Thetford asked me if I'd present this for him in his absence tonight. What you have is basically a permit that was denied. This is for basically like a permanent on-site, a permit to keep a vending unit on-site. They'll still, like they currently, I believe, do have a permit to operate, but this is a request for them to keep that unit on-site. We've done something very similar for the snow cone stand in town. And can you open up the site plan, if you will? This is what's being proposed. And from here, it says the duration permit is for 6 months only, so every 6 months they would have to come back for the same request. The proposed location of the vending unit is situated on paved site and meets the minimum building setback along FM 156 and Shriver Drive. And the application for the vendor's permit otherwise meets all other requirements. So really the only exception to the typical permit is that they're asking to leave this unit on site 24 hours. It just would still operate, I believe 7 to 10, but it would stay there. Could you show the actual unit as well? In addition, it does not impact the required spaces for that location. So they have a total of 74 parking spaces, and it only requires them to have 53. So it occupying those 4 wouldn't interfere with that requirement.
Do they have the property owner's consent?
They do. This item was removed previously because that had not been done, but it is available in that packet where the property owner has consented to allow it, and there's an agreement there as well.
Very good. All right, counsel.
Mr. Tucker?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So just to clarify, the only 2 issues is that they want to keep it permanently there for 6 months, and it doesn't meet the setback. That's correct. Other than that, it meets the requirements.
I believe it does meet the setbacks. The only issue is the leaving of the unit overnight. I think it meets, I believe they actually currently had a permit that allowed them to park, remove it, and bring it back every day. They're just asking to leave it there overnight to stop the hassle of moving it back and forth.
Okay, thank you.
Is this for 6 months or for all year long?
It's 6 months at a time, and it would be from June 5th to December 5th, and I believe the June 5th is from the original permit request.
Yeah, I think the only reason we didn't consider it last time is because they didn't have the agreement of the property owner, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So if we've approved the snow cone stand to do the same thing, I don't see why we can't do this. So I would make a motion to approve the vendor's permit to locate a vending unit on property located at 1195 F156 to operate as One Bite Tacos and leave the vending machine in place overnight for a period of 6 months.
Motion is made to approve the vendor's permit to locate a vending unit on property located at 1195 FM 156 to operate as One Bite Tacos and to be able to leave the unit overnight. And that is for a period of 6 months from June 5th to December 5th. Is that correct? June 5th to December 5th, is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
All right. That's the motion.
I second.
There is okay, there is a second. There is a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I did talk to a few neighbors on Shriver when this was presented last time, and some of their concern was the safety of that drive and increasing the number of vehicles that would be coming in and out of that road, which is already pretty precarious. It's tough because we hardly have any places to eat, so it's nice to have an additional option. But the majority of who I talked to, well, all but one of who I talked to, said that they do not support this because of the added traffic and the safety concerns.
Will you pull the site plan up again? All right, so that ingress egress is off Shriver Drive.
But it has been operating for a while already, right?
I don't believe so.
I
I've
don't
seen it
believe this
behind
is-
Joe's, but I don't think it's been
believe this has
operating.
been out there at all.
Not at
ever.
all?
No.
Yes,
I think
it's
the
there, it's
previous-
behind
there
Joe's, but it's not
Previous request
operating.
was over near the snow cone machine, I think was, all right. I don't recall seeing this unit out at any time. I do recall seeing a taco vending unit at,
The Texaco.
near the country store
Right.
off of Odessa, but not here.
Mr. Tucker has it.
So I do believe, so I asked this question to the building official, and from my understanding is nothing prohibits them from occupying and operating out of this site currently. It's just the only thing they could not do is leave it overnight. So there's nothing in the current permitting that would prohibit them from coming every day, parking it there, operating it, and leaving it. He said that was, and I believe they were operational at some point. I'm not positive on that. But from my understanding, they would be allowed to operate in this method at that location because they meet the setback requirements. They are not occupying more spaces than that would impact the business that they're currently, and that as long as they left with the unit, they would currently be in compliance. The only thing they need is the ability to leave it here overnight out of.
So whether we approve this or not, they already had the permit to operate during the day. They
Correct.
would just have to move it every night and come back every morning.
That is correct. That's
So
my
they're
understanding.
asking us to add this to say that they don't have to move it every day,
That is their request.
but they're
just-
already going to be operating anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and with that information, that might be a bigger safety issue, the moving of it twice a day onto 156 and Schreiber.
Is there a way, can we verify they got a permit now to operate?
I think Tucker.
Have you got a permit? You got an active permit that's been issued? The others, I didn't know there were setbacks associated with a mobile trailer. Mr. Schwenke, you know anything about that?
I do not, but I'll be looking up the,
I mean, I hear this, well, they have the required setbacks, I just have not.
So I believe this is the current active one. It allows them to operate within the city limits.
Seems like a pretty bad location. I mean, you're behind a building, who's going to see them? I mean,
Like I said, I don't,
Tanya, you're muted.
Okay, yes, because I was just looking, the site again, that's where they are currently, that's where it's sitting. I thought, when we looked at it last time, they wanted to move to the front. But it is behind the building, okay.
All right, this,
Okay, to me, that changes it up, because last time I thought it was, they were asking to be moved to the front.
I think a month ago, they wanted to be in the front,
They were.
right off
Correct.
156.
I believe so. This is what's being
They
requested
changed it.
tonight.
Yeah, so, yeah, with this change, that changes I think the safety concerns, that's a
so
much
their
better
application
option.
does say in front of Lewis Spa. Have they changed this application?
Not that I'm aware of.
So I understand that you need to make a stipulation with regard to this application. It's not in front of Lewis Spa. It would be located as depicted on the site plan. So if you'll pull the site plan up again.
Well, there's two signed agreements. What does the second one say? Oh, that's an agreement application.
And the picture also shows it behind the building, the very last document, so.
Rear parking area right there.
All right, will you scroll down? Scroll, keep on scrolling, go to the bottom of the page. Keep on going, okay, you can pull the next one up that may have the property owner's signature and agreement. Okay, there we are, that's the one that counts. That was signed July the 10th. And that is, and I just go up there and confirm, it is again located in the rear. Keep on scrolling up. There you go. Images, location. Here we go. Scroll up. That's, okay, hold up. Let's take a look. The assessment indemnity in relation to retail spaces. Scroll up, please. Scroll up. Okay. Generators, relation to relay, maybe number 12, addition, option. That does not locate. Go up to 7 hours operation. He would continue up. Oh, up. All right, location, here we are. Truck only in the rear parking behind the leasee's leased retail spaces. So that would be in conjunction with the site plan that's shown. And this has the property owners.
Perfect, thank you.
So what you're approving is leaving it out 24 hours a day. Okay?
That's what we did for the snow cone stand.
I think if anything, we try it for the 6 months and we can talk about it when it comes back if there's an issue.
So there's a
Call the
motion
question.
and a second to approve.
Call the question.
Is there well, I've already started.
Okay.
There's a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. 8E, discuss, consider, act on resolution adopting the City of Haskell elected and appointed officials relations policy, establish standards of professionalism, integrity, transparency, accountability, and respect. Whose item is this? Whose item is this?
I'm presenting it.
Pardon?
I'm presenting it.
But who authored this?
Councilmember Wise did.
Pardon?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Not alone, I worked with the city.
All right, very good.
And I would also like to add that I had sent an email to Mr. Ashton about, previous communication, and so I think it's been a group effort.
It has.
Okay, so-
And Jeremy Page was also involved in it too.
Okay, good.
So the proposed elected and appointed officials relations policy would replace the existing council relations policy that was recently updated in April. Oh, go back. Well, you can stay here, that's fine. The proposed policy represents an expansion in scope and is intended to establish clear, more comprehensive standards of conduct for all elected and appointed officials serving the city. Just a quick overview of the changes that are proposed. So the proposed policy applies to all elected and appointed officials, including all boards and commission members. The existing council relations policy, it implies that it applies to them, but this one actually specifically states that it applies to them. It's formatted in a formal structure with articles and numbered sections. It references a city code of ordinances, section 1.03.037 for enforcement. It includes comprehensive new sections covering social media, AI, the Texas Open Meeting Act compliance, and records retention. And it includes an acknowledgement page to get signatures that they've read and acknowledge it. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh,
Are you finished?
no, I was
Oh,
asking
okay.
to move forward.
Oh, all right, good.
I mean, I could be done, but there's more. So the all elected and appointed officials, this is the most significant change in this policy, is to explicitly clarify who it applies to. The existing policy implied applicability to boards and commissions but not address them directly. The new policy explicitly applies to all elected and appointed officials and ensures consistent, clearly defined standards of conduct across all governing bodies. The new policy is structured as a formal legal document with articles, numbered sections, and direct references to the city's code of ordinances. The enforcement is explicitly tied to section 1.03.037 in the code, and the structure gives the policy more clarity. So non-retaliation is a new section. No official shall be pressured, intimidated, retaliated against, or subjected to adverse treatment solely because of a lawful vote, opinion, position, policy disagreement, or exercise of an independent judgment. And respectful disagreement is identified as an essential component of effective governance, and it shall not by itself be considered misconduct. So boards and commission section is expanded. The existing policy had a brief section on council relations with boards. The proposed policy dedicates Article 6 to this topic, which includes independent judgment, formal definition of limitations of the council liaison role, appointment and removal authority, explicit statement that board members do not report to individual council members, a new provision allowing a designated board representative up to 10 minutes to present recommendations to the city council when an agenda item originates from that board. So the social media section is a new section. The proposed policy formally defines 4 types of social media accounts, which is a personal account, campaign account, constituent communication account, with some included recommended disclaimer language, and the official city account, which would only be managed by city staff. Additional provisions include officials may not block or restrict individuals on constituent communication accounts solely due to disagreement or differing viewpoints. Officials shall not administer or moderate community discussion groups primarily focused on city governance or agenda items, and the use of a personal device or account does not exempt city-related communications from records retention or disclosure requirements. The Open Meetings Act related to electronic communications, While compliance with the Open Meetings Act has always been required by law, this new policy formally codifies these expectations in writing. Communications between a quorum of council members about public business, no matter the form or time, can constitute as a meeting to which the Open Meetings Act applies. Officials shall comply with the Open Meetings Act. Officials should avoid electronic communications that could reasonably be interpreted as deliberations outside of properly posted meetings, and officials should exercise caution when engaging in online discussions. Then the section on artificial intelligence is also new. It says officials may use AI tools to assist with research, drafting, and communication. They're responsible for the accuracy, legality, and content of all communications, regardless of whether AI was used. And confidential, privileged executive session, personnel, or otherwise protected information shall not be entered into public AI systems. And then, as I mentioned, the acknowledgement requirement is a new section as well. And then, go ahead. So just to quickly highlight what was removed or really replaced, go ahead, Richard. The summary, the standalone glossary of terms has been removed. Instead, definitions are integrated throughout the body of the document, and the proper conduct is or is not checklist has been replaced by formal policy language in Article 3. And that is all.
I just want to add a single statement to a concern that was voiced in the community involvement. This does not replace the ethics document. So this is in conjunction with it. It does not replace that. Correct. It does not replace that document.
I had one question, if it's time for that.
Go.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I thought it looked good, and a lot of the information was great to be updated. We added the social media piece to our handbook years ago, but the only thing I wanted to ask about was the use of the city logo, and maybe including something, and I'm not sure what other cities, this was, looked at to kind of establish this. But if it's something that maybe we need to, it represents official city communications, and so is that something elected officials, appointed officials should or should not be using in a manner that implies endorsement from the city? So that's just something to think about, or we could add or amend or see what other cities have in their policies.
Well, the city logo is copyrighted, and so they would have to go in accordance with that. And we do have, I believe, a criteria published already. It requires permission from the city to use that logo.
Tanya, I think that actually would be good to add. I'm trying to pull up the document to see. Did you have a suggestion of where to add it? I think it just, yeah. Let me pull it up, 1 second.
Does that actually belong in a document like this? That's a separate item in use of our logos, as well as we have, like, asset happenings is copyrighted. The use of that is copyrighted, and any communication or things of use of that name requires our permission.
Tanya, we can't hear you. We lost her.
We lost your audio. Just a minute. Give us a minute.
Chris, did you want to say something while we're waiting on Tanya?
Give us just a moment to get, see if Mayor Pro Tem Morrow can get this resolved. Otherwise, we'll have to count her as absent.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
There you are. Okay.
Yeah, I had to change my AirPods out. It's fine. But y'all can continue talking. I don't even know what the question was and what y'all had asked. I apologize.
So I had made a comment.
Oh, you said House of Happenings. Yeah, I didn't know that was even.
Logos or any copyrighted item.
Right.
Particularly belong in a document like this.
And I was going to say, when you mentioned that House of Happenings was copyrighted, I was unaware of that myself. That was something created on the Parks Board a long time ago, and I was not aware of that. So I think the more information that we can include, the better.
But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're referencing using the city logo, especially when it pertains to social media. And
Or a flyer, or a post, or a
I don't think it
anything,
would
yes.
hurt to send it to Jeremy if we approve it with a note of like, hey, does Jeremy think there's a section where we could put that in for flyers or social media, just to add it?
Yeah, I agree.
May I ask a question clarifying?
Please.
In section 7.09, blocking moderation and public access on social media, is that with regards to the city's social media account?
The 7.09?
Yes.
So
Can you bring that item up?
it is, while they're bringing it up, it speaks
community.
specifically
Well,
to.
we're bringing it up so everybody here can see since the question's asked. 7.09. Is that the end of that?
Page 19.
Yeah, page 19. Sorry, page 19. Because above that, it was talking about,
If you look, it specifically states for a constituents account, so not your private.
All right, pause there, please. Blocking, moderation, and public access. Officials shall not beat, hide, restrict, or block individuals on their constituent communication account solely because of disagreement. What is a constituent communication account?
Could you please scroll up to the definition?
just want to make sure everybody's aware, or everybody's on the same page about all this.
You know what section the definitions are in?
It's at the top of section 7.
Top of section 7.
Correct, right there. It defines the different accounts.
Constituent communication account, an account maintained primarily for communicating with residents regarding city matters, providing updates, sharing information, receiving constituent feedback, or facilitating public engagement. Is this an official City of Haslett account?
No, that's a separate account, and if you scroll down, you
So
can
this
see
is
it.
a private account?
No, constituent communication accounts are generally public. It's,
There are, okay. You're intending these to be public accounts hosted by whom?
The individual, this relates to the
Are they
social.
hosted by the city?
No, that would be a
That's a
city.
city account. So there's four different accounts that are being proposed here that if you
Why,
want to.
I'm just looking, what is a constituent communication account?
it's an account ran by an individual that is open to the public. And so pretty much, so to answer your question, the point of this is that if any governing body member, council, mayor, decides to have an account for the public to a constituents account, you shouldn't be blocking people just because you don't like them. The point of that account is to be a public figure, so those personal reasons to remove or block someone shouldn't really.
I would have to study that in myself, and I believe I've have read statute with regard to that type of account, and that would have to be a city account.
That's false. This is
Well-
it's pretty standard. It does not have to be a city-run account.
Do you know what section of the government code I could refer to?
Not off the top of my head, but this is pretty standard. There was a lot of research done across other cities, and Jeremy has approved this as stated. There's no issue.
All right. I would have to see what supports that. Very good. Questions? I'm glad the question came up.
Did you have another question?
All right, then. Is there more presentation that you're going to make, Ms. Babcock?
No, sir.
Okay, council.
I do have a question before we
Yes.
make a motion. I had a question about the Robert's Rules of Order before we go forward.
Please.
Because with the book you purchased us in the 2026, when reviewing it, it actually says that we are supposed to, I had a note. Sorry. A member makes a motion and then it's seconded before the chair restates the question. We've been doing, a motion is made, chair restates, and then a second, which is out of order.
And that is fine, it's been permissible, it's not a, now, but also to go along with that, such as these presentations happen and, or a motion is made, is that discussion ensues. And then after that, there's a second made. Well, according to Robert's Rules of Order, there is no discussion until it's seconded. If an item, and seconding, actually making a main motion and/or a second does not mean you approve of the item, one way or the other. But someone's going to make a motion to approve or disapprove an item, and then there's a second. After a second, technically, according to Robert's Rules of Order, then discussion can ensue. The reason being, if the item, the motion, does not receive a second, the item's dead.
Mr. Mayor,
There is
point of
no
order.
discussion. What is the point of order?
A discussion on Robert's Rule of Orders is not on the agenda,
I know, is that the,
as you have pointed out on other items as well.
Councilmember Wise raised an issue about Robert's Rule of Order, so I took
Just seeking to understand.
Yes. So I'm sure you don't oppose that to try. and-
I do. That was my question. What section this,
Very
that
good.
was my-
So if we would, I'm sorry,
Mayor Hall, yeah, I was just saying, that was my question as well. Is this on the agenda to be discussed about Robert's rules? It was just a,
No, it's
I was
not on the
asking before we
agenda.
made a motion, because I'm trying to understand the process.
oh, before the motion, okay, before we made a motion, the process.
Yes.
Got it, thank you.
Sorry,
Okay,
that's all I was asking.
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Okay. I make a motion to approve agenda item 8E, discuss, consider, and act on resolution 2026 adopting XXX-2026 adopting the City of Hazlet elected and appointed official relations policy establishing standards of professionalism, integrity, transparency, accountability, and respect, with a note to ask City Attorney Jeremy Page if an item could be added regarding the city logo on social media, posts, flyers, etc.
So a motion is made to approve a resolution adopting the City of Haslett elected and appointed officials relations policy establishing standards of professionalism, integrity, transparency, accountability, and respect, and to ask the city attorney if a statement on the use of city logo can be included. Did I get that correct? Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There is a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Thank you, Crystal.
8F, discuss, consider, and act on a preliminary scope of work and budget for the phased widening of Blue Mountain Road continuing from the existing terminus from John Day Road to Harmon Road into a 4-lane roadway with a raised median and turn lanes tabled from the June 1st, 2026 regular city council meeting. So we would need a motion to untable.
I make a motion to untable agenda item 8F.
Motion is made to table agenda item 8F. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. All right, let's go to the item. Presentation. Mr. Anderson.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
So you're
Mayor.
going to present a preliminary scope of work, is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir. I believe
And a
it's-
budget?
That's correct,
All
yes,
right,
sir.
good.
And that was.
I'm
that
sorry,
was-
really quick before you get started, could you bring, Chris, were you here the first meeting?
Which one was it?
June 1st, I believe.
Could you just give them a brief of like where we were and
Sure,
what we asked you to work on?
sure. Why don't we click on that overview? There we go. So what was discussed at June 1st, there are a myriad of roadway projects. This particular one, we were asked to put together our understanding of a scope of work from Blue Mountain Road, from John Day Road out to the east terminus at Harmon Road, and put together a plan of action with a budget to help get this project, as you see it on the screen here, to a point where the alignment could be locked down, the right-of-way could be identified, and the acquisition of said right-of-way could move forward, as well as a total project cost budget, and funding partners could be approached, or a funding methodology or a phasing methodology could be put together for the project in its totality. It was also discussed that once we had an overall plan in hand for the project, a schematic design, if you will, that the project could then be broken out into phases. Presented at that meeting detailed discussions for the two intersections at John Day Road and 156, breakout projects, if you will. So the ask was, can you go back and figure out what it would take to put together some sort of overall preliminary engineering document and budget for the project? So we went back and ran through all the information that we've put together over the last 4 years for this project, and I've done my best to kind of identify what I recommend from a project deliverable standpoint for a 100% schematic for this project. And so if we go to back to the staff report, Richard, I'll kind of just briefly hit those items. And no, just go down further in the report, please. Okay, so what we're recommending is 100% design schematic drawing, which would basically be one long drawing with all the information that I'm about to walk you through. Item 1 would be preliminary roadway information, the horizontal and vertical curve information, site distance calculations, typical cross sections. Cross sections would may or may not change depending on where the road, what portion of the roadway you're looking at, combined with the intersection layout configurations. We would identify the location of the major bridge class culverts and drainage structures for the project. We would go back and analyze the traffic and turning data. We would look at average day vehicular traffic as well as peak hour traffic at the intersections. We would look at and discuss the potential for bike pedestrian accommodations, sidewalks or shared use paths. Look at the preliminary location for all the necessary retaining walls for the project. You know, there's a big cut that would need to be done on the hill as you come out of the newer subdivisions over towards Sweetgrass. All that would basically be identifying the footprint of the project. Part of this project, I think that's going to be very important, and one of the things that we want to try to get a handle on up front, because it directly relates to the schedule and the cost, would be traffic control planning. Typically, you leave that up for a contractor. You allow them to provide their own traffic control plan depending on the project. In a project like this, given the lack of east-west mobility, I think it would be pretty important for us to go through and design the road around a phased traffic control plan that would be provided to the contractor. You take advantage of minimizing disruptions to the traveling public. So that's something that would be laid out in this initial drawing in some manner, so that that could be further evaluated and updated with detailed engineering drawings and built into the cost of the project. Railroad coordination for the at-grade crossings over on the west end of the project. Anytime you touch a railroad crossing, they typically require you to bring it up to all their standards as it relates to signal preemption, different new setbacks for new equipment and the like. So quite a bit of that work that should be done on the front end so that you can adequately provide for schedule and budget funds to accommodate. If you go down to item 4, Richard, please. Preliminary drainage design, trying to put together all the different large bridge class culverts that would be necessary for crossing of the roadway. I believe there's 2 or 3 of those. Figure out how much additional right-of-way, figure out any FEMA floodplain issues, anything that could impact schedule or cost of the project. Number 5 would be any environmental impacts associated with the project or its limits. Number 6, we're getting into evaluating the existing and proposed right-of-way and any other land rights that would be necessary to construct the project, whether that's existing right-of-way, future right-of-way, additional temporary, permanent drainage, grading, or utility easements. There's certain locations where right-of-way has been dedicated. There's certain locations where right-of-way was dedicated but doesn't necessarily conform to the current thoroughfare plan of 110 feet. And so go through and try to analyze those and minimize the right-of-way impact and impact to property owners. That would be task 6. Task 7 would involve trying to determine how much survey we've accumulated over the years through the various developments along there, also with work done on behalf of the city to determine any gaps in the detailed topographic and boundary survey necessary to complete the project. Number 8 would be a preliminary geotech investigation and pavement design report. We would look at the different paving options, whether those are flexible or rigid, hot mix or concrete. Again, that would all come out of the daily vehicle traffic projections and the ESAL, which is equivalent single axle loads associated with all the semi-truck traffic on the eastern end of the project. Obviously, just like Haslett Parkway, you know, you've got a 12 inch or 15 inch up to intermodal? 15 inch up to intermodal, and then it goes down to 9 inch past that. So the thickness of your pavement depends greatly on the number and types of vehicles anticipated for that section, which directly relates to the cost. So those are all things that, when you're doing a project this size, make a big difference, not only from the design, but obviously from the budgetary standpoint. And then we've got a line item in there for subsurface utility investigation, different levels, right? There's a myriad of utility plans and permits and things that have been accumulated over the years through the corridor permitted. I gave an example of a quality level A would be actually putting eyes on the 48-inch water line that crosses Blue Mound Road. That's pretty important. Don't want to be moving those. But if you've got a 25-year-old phone cable for landline, you're not too worried about those because they're probably abandoned anyway. So going through and getting an idea of the number and the types of facilities that will need to be relocated, all of those generally have to be relocated at the request of the city when a roadway is widened, unless they have their own exclusive easement. So coordinating that effort, and as we discussed back at the June 1st meeting, how long it takes to get utilities designed and moved by others. You gotta have to have the room to move them before you can do that. So that's an important task that we put in there. And then item 10, we had prepared a conceptual cost estimate back in 2024. And, you know, as we go through this process, presuming you'd like to move forward, then at the end of it, we would have an updated cost estimate based on all the tasks identified in this project. And the goal, you know, again, would be we could basically develop the project footprint, determine the right-of-way needs, work on coordinating the utility relocations, all while the detailed design, engineering funds, and the project construction funds could be identified. You know, this is a large project. It's going to take a lot more, I think, than the city of Haslett to build a $50 or $55 million road or whatever this is. But this is a tangible effort, I think, that would go a long way to helping get others behind the potential for this project to move forward. And that, whether that's help from others or that's going through and determining a phased approach for constructing this roadway. So that was my understanding of the ask back in June 1st. So we put this together. We've got the financial impact there at the bottom, talking about the roadway design and really our effort, about $185,000 over probably a year. We've got special services for our traffic and drainage studies that would need to be done through associates, and then additional services would be the geotechnical work and the roadway bores. So about $335,000. You know, you don't have $5-6 million to engineer it. I don't think you're there yet. You really just need to identify the project and start figuring out how much of this city is wanting to tackle. This is the first step in a project of this scale that would need to be done. So that's what I've got presented and put together for you this evening.
So I have a question. Is this to deliver a schematic design?
100%, yes, sir. Schematic design.
All right. And the other is in number 7, if you can scroll that up. I am familiar with the, yes, right there. That's good. Stop. I'm familiar with what LiDAR is with regard to policing. I'm not familiar with what LiDAR is with regard to topography and boundary surveys. What is LiDAR?
So LiDAR is a type of survey that's used either through aircraft flying above or drones, and there's various levels of survey that have been gathered up through work that we've done, through work that consultants have done in preparation of the various subdivisions along the route, as well as the COG topographic data that's available, which is typically accurate down to 2 feet. So that's really just trying to determine what we actually need to send a surveyor out and pick up on the ground, fill in any gaps, if that makes sense. LiDAR is just that technology, I guess it would be.
So all of that would aid in with regard to preliminary and construction and 100%. But what you have here is a proposal to produce a schematic design and a budget to build the road. Got it.
That we would have a line item at the bottom of our cost estimate that would say detailed topographic and boundary survey, $487,000 or whatever the.
No, I just know what you're
Yes, sir.
proposing right here.
Yes, sir.
This item,
Correct.
schematic design, and those are the fees to acquire that.
That's correct.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Then just for your awareness, when we originally spoke about this, we were planning to utilize the $600,000 that, Marcy, what's the name of the fund? $600,000 for Sweetgrass that's dedicated to the Blue Mound.
They have a escrow.
Yeah, escrow account. So this isn't coming from general fund. And Marcy, you double checked and made sure that hasn't been touched, the full 600,000 is there?
Yes.
Did you have any questions about that, Chris?
I've got lots of questions.
Was it 660,000?
Marcy, was it 660?
I believe it's 600. I'd have to look to be sure.
Okay, thank you.
Is not that $600,000 that, now that is that's the escrow put up by, is it Caraway and Sweetgrass or any particular subdivision?
Just Sweetgrass.
It's all just Sweetgrass, but that would be in support of constructing that roadway adjacent to their property.
There was a stipulation that there was the requirement that within 10 years of that money being deposited, that the roadway limits adjacent to Phase 1A and 1C, be the Blue Mound Road limits, that portion of roadway was to be reconstructed within 10 years.
Okay,
Right.
Mr.
But we're
Anderson,
talking about using that money from the John Day Road, which is 1.5 miles away, to Harmon Road. That's not within the limits of Sweetgrass. I'm just questioning the use of where that money's coming from.
Now, the agreement just said Blue Mound Road. It didn't define east-west, and it didn't define the limits. I think the goal here was to look at the project in its entirety, but we're just bringing to everyone's attention that the escrow funds, one of the conditions of the $600,000, which was their calculated share to build their half of that roadway, that they would put the money up so long as a roadway project to reconstruct the road, and that's basically the wording. It said roadway reconstruction. It doesn't say out of what, who's doing it, that be done within the limits of their property within 10 years.
Understood.
so within the limits of their property, does that not restrict it to Blue Mound East?
I guess it would technically, because, yeah, they're all solely over there on Blue Mound East. So that could be one of the things. As we go through and you start looking at this and you wrap your head around how big of a project it is, okay, one of the constraints is, we're trying to get these intersections improved. What level do we take them to with the 156th and the John Day project? We also have this new wrinkle, if you will, that this stretch in front of Sweetgrass must be done by this certain date. So that could be worked in and programmed once you have this overall document. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I would almost say that is added to that phase 1 to ensure that we're meeting that deadline. I mean,
And I thought it was 5 years. It's 10 years to spend it?
Yes.
10 years to complete the road widening in front of Sweetgrass.
Yeah, and I don't have that.
But it can be renegotiated. The length is what I've been told, but I don't know.
Of the escrow account?
Yeah.
As long as we're
Okay.
working in like good faith, as in we've
Yeah.
actually been trying to utilize the funds appropriately. And like we're working towards the goal that we promised them.
Right. So, Mr. Anderson, you mentioned 2024. There was an effort by the council at that time, which I was not on, and the mayor, and they looked at widening Blue Mound, and they came up to $55 million, I think, that your suggestion that that's how much it would probably cost. I think it was you that said that, but I may be
No,
incorrect.
that's correct, yes, sir.
And the council and the mayor looked at possibly doing a bond election in November of 2024, and they ultimately decided not to do that because it would cost too much money to the small number of citizens in Hazlet. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Am I correct so far?
That was my
Would
understanding.
raise taxes, yes.
Yes. So I remember the mayor specifically saying, I don't know if it was in a council meeting or on TV, that it would effectively double the property taxes of the citizens of Hazlet at the time, November
I said
November
it
of
in the
2024.
meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And it would raise, we were approximately, I think, 0.3, somewhere in that neighborhood, 3.1, 3.2. And the payment on a $55 million bond would raise our property tax another 29 cents, effectively doubling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was the comment.
Yes, sir.
And I made that in a council meeting.
Thank you. So, Mr. Anderson, in November of '24, how did you come up with that price tag for $55 million, and now we have to spend $335,000 for you to come back to $55 million again?
Well, we did concept, can you show them the conceptual drawings, if you would, please? Sorry, I probably should have walked through those. I forgot you weren't at that meeting.
No, well, I was on a call with you about this. I realize I know what's going on here. What I'm asking is, if we already knew there was $55 million almost 2 years ago.
Well, let me walk you through it. I'll walk you through it. So what we have here is this is beginning on the west side of the project at John Day Road. So we have a Fort Worth section coming into here, combined on the east side of John Day Road with the Haslett section. So you can see there's different path widths, right? Fort Worth has a larger shared use path requirement. They have different lane widths. They have different thicknesses of pavement. We didn't necessarily take all that into consideration when we put this particular cost estimate together in 2024. And we also just kind of drew in the pavement, and we estimated the pavement thickness and the pavement widths. So we didn't go through and do detailed design on any of this. And you'll note there's no drainage in here. There's no retaining walls. There's no pavement analysis. There were no turn lane links that had been clearly identified. And so all those things have either been done through the various intersection improvement schematic level drawings that we've prepared, or we're proposing to do those as part of this task. So we're taking the information that we know today, we're combining it into a single drawing that takes it from a concept plan to a high-level schematic.
So in 2024, it was a concept plan,
Correct, yes, sir.
and this would be a high-level schematic.
Correct.
And is it going to be affected by the fact that there may be a bridge someday over the railroad tracks there on Blue Mound as well? Because we're designing a road that then will be replaced. Is that correct, by a bridge?
Well, yeah, at this point, we know that the county has applied for a bridge that more or less lands generally in this area.
Right.
And so that would be worked into the information that we put together. And I think at that same meeting, we showed a detailed, or the best we had, of the bridge schematic laid over our ultimate improvements for this roadway, as well as the interim that we were asked to scope out for the city.
Right.
so-
And then you said you also were going to work on a traffic count for Blue Mound, is that correct?
Update and do turning count projections, and yes,
How often do you need to do a new traffic count to keep the numbers accurate?
Well, I think we've got traffic counts from August of 25.
Yes,
I
we do.
believe. Or
That the
actually,
mayor had at his September 17th
Yeah,
traffic.
it was earlier than that, so it's probably the fall of 25.
So is that not new enough? Because I think we spent $30,000 or $40,000 on that.
Yeah, and I think part of what we're saying is we're not necessarily going out and calculating or grabbing new traffic. It would be to grow the traffic,
Okay.
right? Based on background and just 2 years worth of time. But really going through and doing intersection capacity analysis to assist with the layout of the potential intersection improvements.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then one of these intersections, the one with intermodal,
Correct.
I see that it's a roundabout.
Yeah, if you could go down maybe, that was the
Sheet
concept.
6 of 7.
That was the concept at the time. You also note too, that we had two different options, if I remember correctly. We had a 5-lane undivided roadway, and we had a 3-lane undivided roadway. The ask of the council at this point is a 4-lane divided roadway from one end to the other.
Is this roundabout big enough for semi-trucks?
That one, no, that one would not be. But I don't know that that's the desire. I think that one, based on the,
I'm sorry?
It's not desirable to
They're not
have
supposed to be.
semi-truck traffic on Blue Mountain Road.
I'm not saying it's desirable. What I'm saying is there are businesses right here that are not part of Hazlet that we can't deny access to when they have truck traffic that need to get those businesses.
That's correct, and they have all been, now, I don't know where this circle lies with regard to Harmon Road. They've all been informed that their route is from out of their place of business to the east to Harmon Road.
that's correct.
They
And
have to
then-
have a way to get out of their business.
Yes.
Yes,
And,
okay.
and part of this concept of a roundabout was introduced mainly to discourage truck traffic through this portion of the roadway back to the west. We understand that we have to provide access to the folks. One of the things that came out of the traffic study of the corridor done back last summer, I guess it would be, in preparation for the meeting on the 17th of September, was that single lane roundabout wouldn't have capacity, wouldn't have adequate capacity. So that either needs to be a full signalized intersection, which has been incorporated into our cost estimate for phase 2 of intermodal, or a multi-lane roundabout. Multi-lane roundabout at that location, given the geometry of it, I don't know that that would be feasible because of the amount of right-of-way it would take. So again, this was a concept thrown together. There's been a lot of detailed information put together since then. So that's an example, I guess, of some of the things that we really need to go back through to figure out what this is going to cost and how to best implement it.
Yeah, and Chris, you're correct. I did just go look at the property. This would block about 3 industrial properties, or at least properties that have trucks. So we definitely would not be able to do a roundabout at that location.
Yeah, so my ultimate question is, if we've been talking about Blue Mountain expansion for, let's say, 2 years, I appreciate Councilman Jasmine's enthusiasm in getting it going again, but I don't understand why we haven't already done this 2 years ago. If we figured out that $55 million is going to be too much, and I'm really not even asking you, I'm just talking, so please
Yes, sir.
don't take this as I'm attacking you.
Understood.
What I'm trying to figure out is if we figured out 2 years ago that 55 million was going to be too much, and if we're now going to spend 335,000 to ultimately end up back at it's 55 million and it's too much, and now we need to go talk to our regional partners, why didn't we pick up the phone and call our regional partners 2 years ago? Because we could have already had this done, and we could already be helping our citizens, and yet here we are still talking about it.
Because we were talking to our regional partners about bridges and Haslett Parkway and Keller Haslett extension to FM 156. This is the likelihood that there would be, now anything's possible, but this is an internal roadway. Yes, it is driven by regional traffic, but it is not anything that would support industry to the north. It would be primarily to accommodate those Fort Worth residents. And of course, Fort Worth could be approached. But to give you that, it's not like people were ignoring this altogether.
So has Fort Worth been approached by you to widen Blue Mountain?
No, not to date,
I don't understand why not.
because they have not been contacted to date.
I don't understand why not.
Okay, well, I'm sure you don't. understand.
It continues to put the citizens of Hazlet in a bad place because we don't take the time to have the conversations
Oh,
we need to
you're
have when we
painting
need
in
to
an
have them.
inappropriate picture, Mr. Carruthers.
That's your assessment, that's not my assessment. It's
No,
not an
no,
inappropriate picture.
it is.
So these are the conversations that we need to be having, and if
Well,
you
let's do.
think,
Okay, do we,
if you think that we're gonna end up with spend $335 million on a study to get back to 55 million, and you're gonna say again, well, we don't have the money and nobody wants to help us, oh well.
well,
then
it
we're
had been
wasting
determined that nobody wants to help us.
Then we're wasting
That certainly
$335,000.
can be asked, but at that point in time, to go ask other entities to help fund a $55 million project from Harmon Road to John Day Road for a primarily residential roadway, that industry would not have any advantage, as was approached by very influential logistics industry, is that you are thinking you are going to propose or give a project here, and it's got you're almost doubling the property tax. He says, there's no one on the north end of your city that they would all have to pay that property tax, but no one up there would have benefit of that roadway. So there are different aspects to consider when you go ask other entities, such as, RTC. They would be likely one.
Have you asked them?
City of Fort Worth.
Have you asked them?
Not yet. Not yet.
Why?
Sir?
2 years.
Is that?
At least.
Excuse me, is this on the agenda item as to these items?
Yes, because I'm trying to figure out if we're gonna waste this $335,000 on this project when we're gonna end up right back
I would
where we
ask Mr.
began to
Anderson, is
start
this
it.
going to be a waste?
I think a project of this scale is gonna require what we're proposing to do, no matter who funds it or how it gets implemented.
So independent of where the money comes from.
And to really put a good number to it, I mean, it's kind of like, how much does that truck cost? If you ask me right now, how much does that truck cost? I don't know if you're talking about a 1993 F-250 or a 2024 King Ranch, a $20,000 truck or an $80,000 truck. We threw this concept together based on best available information, and that was a 5-lane concrete road, 52 feet wide or whatever it was. I don't have the number. And so if you're going to try to figure out how to truly find a way to get this project implemented, you are going to need something above and beyond a concept plan, but you don't have $5 million to engineer it.
I agree with you.
Yes,
But my
sir.
point is, ultimately, my point is,
Yes, sir.
if we are going to spend all this money and end up in the same spot and not have started the conversation with our regional partners, because what my opinion would be, we need to start the conversation with, hey, is there any chance that we can get some help with this? And if not, then why are we spending the money?
My recollection, when I was right there in that meeting and Neil was up here, this was brought out. Because this was part of the presentation, and he said, if I remember right, we can go back and watch the video. I know this was brought out, and
It was, I watched it
my
today.
understanding was something to the effect of, hey, we've got a big project real similar to this down south on Bonds Ranch.
Yes.
And we're in the middle of that.
And
Let us-
they've got a lot of people talking together to
Yes,
bring
sir.
that together. We're
So I-
sitting here by ourselves
Well,
and spending money.
Yeah, I think that what I thought I heard him say, and we can ask him for clarification, was let's let them get through that project because of the importance of it and the number of stakeholders and the advanced stage of where it is. But to get to that point, you have to take the next step, which is going through the schematic process of a project like this.
Yes, but the people that did the schematics down there was Tarrant County, TxDOT, Fort Worth, NTCOG all together.
Okay, well, I don't know who did the actual engineering. They had probably one firm that put together everything. I don't know, but that's typically how you do it. If you look at a TxDOT project, that's what they do. They move it through schematic. They get the schematic approved. That allows them to get environmental clearance, get every stakeholder aligned, establish the budget, determine the right-of-way needs. Then they choose who they would like to take it to detailed engineering.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
Then they choose.
Well, we have to get through the schematic first.
Yes, but we're footing the bill And if we're footing the bill and we end up back where we started, which is 55 million, and oh, we can't do it, then what's the point?
Here's the thing, Sweetgrass.
No, here is the point. I would take difference to that. The schematic is going to give you, having going through a schematic design, is going to better define the project. Now, I would, it sounds like it's predetermined. It's a 5-lane road. I would assume the traffic analysis would determine how many lanes are required, but it's being predetermined that it's 5 lanes from Harmon to 156. But given that, doing the schematic design, doing all the drainage, all the topo work, the shared use path or sidewalks, whatever that case may be, intersections signalized in lieu of roundabouts is going to give you a different number. I don't put those estimates together every day, but it sounds like to me it's not going to get cheaper. But you have a level of design, a schematic design, has an engineering probable cost estimate to it that these other entities would then respect. It's this. We're looking for this. Instead of going, well, we think it might be about this much. There's a different conversation when you can go to these folks and have some level of confidence. That is the good reason to do it.
Well, and one other thing, because that's a good point, one other thing is, let's say that you don't have the ability to get the full thing built in a 5-year period of time, 6-year window, whatever the case may be. There will be enough information pulled out of that schematic design that will allow the city to look at the potential for other intersection improvements, whether that's at intermodal. We've got another project underway that's paid for entirely by the developer at Harmon Road, but you're missing a traffic light there. So we know the city's going to have to put in a traffic light there. There's going to need to be a traffic light here. So if you can't build the $55 million project by yourself and no one's willing to kick in, or they say come back in 5 years, the city could then take that drawing and say, okay, can we figure out some interim level improvement at the intersections? Because that's where all your bottlenecks are. And, can we figure out a way to improve this intersection and say Sweetgrass Boulevard's fine, and we'd need to do something down at Vines Watercress area over in the Maxwell Circle general location. I'm just throwing something out. And you say, okay, it's $8 million to do those 2 intersections plus signals at the other end. Those are the types of things that can come out of that drawing. It's a planning document, but it's got a lot more in it than this conceptual level of work.
From the concept that was done prior, 2 years ago, actually it was done before then, but it was about 2 years ago when we presented it to council, from that work, it was driven, and there was okay, what can we do in the interim? We can't build a $55 million road. We're not even going to ask the citizens to vote on a bond such as that. But that's where it fell out, doing the intersection improvements at Blue Mountain Road, east and west, and FM 156. That was the impetus of that. So Mike Anderson's saying the same thing here. But since then, that which we did not have or even know about on Harmon Road, a developer is building that connection.
That $4 million come off.
So
if this property develops, there's $2 million.
Things that have advanced, and the money is well spent.
Okay, really quick, since I.
So that's if we could get to, I think, you're going to approve the expenditure of $380,000 to do this schematic design and cost estimate? Is that the question?
Okay, really quick, because I did bring this forward. The point, Chris, was that regardless of the past we could debate all day, we need to move forward. And at this point, Hazlet needs to show goodwill. We need to show that we as a city envision the same thing for the road, and we're not going to have regional partners come in to help us, and then we're arguing in the city about whether it's 5 lanes or 3 lanes or whatever. We've already got that problem between Bridge to Long Bridge. We need to show some good faith that we all want this road, we all want it one specific way, And then we've started the work to get it there while we start these conversations with regional partners. Nothing is saying we have to wait the full year he's taking to get this done to start those conversations. But if we start those and say, hey, this is what we're executing this year, where can we start these conversations with you? What do you need to see from us besides what we're already starting? Does that make sense? Just kind of get it moving.
I don't disagree with any of that. What I'm saying is, we should have had this conversation 2 years ago.
I mean, I agree, but
For some reason, here we are again. So I want to make sure we don't end up back here again in a year or 2 or 3, and we're still spinning our wheels. We all know we need this road. We've needed this road for 10 years. And it's about to get way worse when they open the new high school.
I think the great thing is that we have the support in place to make sure this continues to progress the way it needs to. And I know the mayor made a statement of regional partners, I'm not quoting exactly, may not be interested in this road, but I think the work they're putting in shows that not to be true. I mean, they're already widening it on their end. They're talking about a bridge. I think our regional partners are very invested in Blue Mound Road and the success of it.
If only we could pick up the phone.
Amen.
That,
Mike, I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
2 years ago, this was estimated at 55 million, and I know things are not getting cheaper. Do you think this might have gone up another 10 million? I mean, do you think this, I mean, I know just in 2 years, I mean, I know with concrete, I mean, just with materials, I mean, I know it's not going to stay at 55 million. Do you think we're looking at something a lot more drastic than?
What, I think one of the things, I'll try to answer that. I always have a roundabout way of trying to answer things. I think when you take into account the potential for the bridge, that would save a significant, potentially save a significant cost at the railroad. When you take out the end of the project down there at the Ironwood that's currently under design that you'll probably see in about a year. When you look at all these factors, when you take into account what may come in during this window as far as development-driven construction, that 55 million that was for I believe that was for the 5-lane ultimate.
Yes.
And then I don't recall the 3-lane, was it 36?
There was no 3-lane proposal
So
and costing for that, but I do know this, from Harmon Road to John Day Road, it was split into 2 pieces. And it was 156 was the divider. It's $35 million at that time from Harmon Road to FM 156. It was $20 million from 156 to John Day Road. And we had put it up as a Proposition A or B or both. You can vote for one or the other or both. Either one was very costly with regard to, voting for a bond on that. Nonetheless,
and just to answer
do you think it'll go up or down?
We've actually seen concrete prices and paving prices, just like with if you remember the parking, not only the street improvements project, I think we had that at 750,000, that came in at 550. The parking lot for Nance, that was 450, it came in at 300, roughly.
Right.
We've seen paving prices actually come down in the last year and a half. Utility prices have not come down. They've stayed the same, if not gone higher. But for whatever reason in this area, based on the things that we've seen through TxDOT and work that we've done in municipalities, paving work is actually coming down. So I don't want to stand up here and say it's going to be this or that.
No, I'm not asking that. I'm just saying, do you think it might, I know things are not really going down a lot. Things are maybe kind of staying the same or going up. I just didn't know if you thought.
The paving is coming down. The other components I don't think have gone down. I think if anything, they've gone up, just like everything else.
All right.
Okay.
I would
I had
like
a
to
quick
draw
question.
council back. Excuse me, did you have something, Mayor Pro Tem Morrow?
Yeah, I just had one quick question, please. On the financial impact of $335,000, it doesn't say where that money is coming from.
It did in the original.
It doesn't now. Did you suggest for it to come from somewhere, Marcy?
No, this is coming from the escrow.
Is coming from where?
Oh, it's coming from the escrow.
Yeah, we're gonna charge this to the escrow, the 600, whether it be 600 or 660, well, we can clarify that, but that was the point when this was brought forward, is to charge this engineering to the escrow. It does allow it, correct, Marcy?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
We'll confirm that, but we'll go with that premise right now. But it will be confirmed that we can use that escrow money to pay for this overall concept plan.
Okay, thank
and
you.
Costing. But, so I'll bring you back to the item itself. The item is to approve this scope of work that defines a 100% schematic design level with the estimate is $335,000 to perform that work. That's the question before you, council. So, there's been lots of discussion here, so I would ask for a vote, or a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve agenda item 8F, to approve the preliminary scope of work and budget for the phase widening of Blue Mound Road, continuing from the existing terminus from John Day Road to Harmon Road into a 4-lane roadway with a raised median and turn lanes, with the cost to be charged to the Sweetgrass escrow account, and with the plan for city engineer to bring this back quarterly to update council.
All right, I'm going to have to ask questions so I understand the motion.
Okay.
So the motion is to approve the scope of work to produce a 100% design, schematic level design. That's the essence of one item. And
Okay.
then to approve the $335,000 for that work.
Correct.
All right. And that be taken from the escrow account.
Correct.
All right. Motion, and here, I'm going to repeat the motion. That's why I do this, so that for clarity.
And
Then
also-
there can be a second.
And also the quarterly update.
Okay, quarterly updates. Well, I thought he'd have it to us next week. He's got one sitting on the shelf already.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, motion is made to approve city engineer to produce a 100% schematic design level as outlined in this scope of work presented, and to approve a fee of $335,000 to be taken from the Sweetgrass escrow account, and that you report back to the city council quarterly on the progress of this task. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There is a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
And I'm sorry, really quick, Mike, you usually come to the first or the second meeting?
Both?
No, he prefers to only come to one. Which one is it?
Whatever works best. I try to load my items up like we're fixing to get into
Okay.
Death Alley here, so.
He comes to both
Okay.
regularly, historically.
He's just said that he prefers to come to one. Crystal, will you mark it for October for follow-up? Thank you.
All right, item 8G, excuse me. Let's take a 5-minute recess. The time is 9:08 PM, so let's recess for 5 minutes, come back at 9:13. Thank you. Thank you. I reconvene the open session of the city council meeting at 9:14 PM. Let's go to, we're at item 8G. Discuss, consider, and act to award a contract to Haney Leadership Group doing business as A&V Water for the FM 156 5.76 million gallon day pump station improvement project in the amount of $230,714.20. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, this is a long-awaited project that we're excited to get underway. We've got a project that was bid out on July 1st. We had it out for about 6 weeks bidding, and we received 6 bids. Our low bid was $5.2 million. That's the bid that we're recommending you award this evening. We had a second bid of $5.5 million. They were really interested in doing the project as well, but we found that A&V Water is capable and looking forward to rolling off a project in Roanoke, actually, that they're set to finish in a couple of days and move straight into this project. We've got all the shop drawings approved for the ground storage tank. We've been working with the tank manufacturer for the last 3 months to get that ready to go. Our tank is under manufacture. We've got quite a bit of site work to do. So this project would basically assign the long lead equipment that we've purchased over the last year and a half, the generator, the pumps, and the ground storage tank, to this general contractor. They'll go through and do the site improvements, which includes a lot of grading, a 14-foot retaining wall on the northeast portion of the property. If you go to the plan set for me, Exhibit C, and then I'll walk everybody through the bid. Maybe just go to the, we're not going to go through all these. There we go. Oh, we can't rotate them. That's okay. We'll return their head. So let's go down. That's the demo plan for existing. Now there's the demo plan. Let's go to the actual site plan. There we go. Okay, so you can see the 250,000 gallon tank, the small tank up to the right. There you go. We're replacing the northern 250,000 gallon tank with a 1 million gallon tank that you can see on the page left, or the north end of the site. You'll see the retaining wall that runs along the eastern and northern property lines. So there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done. Part of this project includes you all authorized the pre-purchase of pumps at your last meeting. Those are the temporary pumps that will go on the skid that was designed to keep the current pump station capacity in place throughout the duration of this project. That skid would then be able to be used on future projects to expand the Harmon Road pump station and keep that in capacity as well. We've got site paving improvement, fencing, grading, a lot of underground piping, a little bit of storm drain work, 20-inch fill line that you'll see coming in that would eventually, there will be a future 1 million gallon tank on the southern end of this property as well. And then we're kicking out 2 walls on the existing pump station and basically doubling the footprint of the building. So what you have before you is a bid from the A&V Water for $5,230,714.20. We're recommending that you pre-authorize 7% to be used for contingency, just due to the nature of underground construction and/or major home renovation, which is essentially what we're doing, expanding the two sides of that pump house. And then we've got 3% recommended for construction administration, project management, and inspection services. So the total project cost associated with this final phase of this particular project is $5.7 million roughly. We've already awarded $1.6 million in previous contracts for the items I mentioned before, the pumps, the generator, transfer switch, and the ground storage tank. So the $7.3 million total project cost all in, including the award of this contract. We've got funding available in Fund 29, and the balance necessary to complete the project coming from impact fees. And so both of those have been vetted by Ms. Lamb, and we're recommending that this construction contract be awarded in the amount of $5,230,714.20 to the Haney Leadership Group, and that you pre-authorize $366,150, which is 7% to cover potential change orders as well as the required materials testing. I didn't have the materials testing proposal in time for this. I got it today. It's $65,000. That's pretty in line with what we're seeing for the amount of site work out here. That's my presentation, unless there's any questions about anything in the plans or the bid tabulation that we've got in there. We had 80, I think we had 48 bid items. So we try to cover everything. So we're negotiating in the field.
May I just ask a small question? So we've already approved 1.6. We're looking at another 5.7. Where does that leave the fund balance once we have those expenditures?
The impact fee fund balance?
Where we're taking this money out of, how much money does that leave us still for future projects?
Well,
Do you know, Marcy?
The Fund 29 was a fund that was set up to construct this project. We put together an
I'll
estimate.
set up, that money that you see here for Fund 29 is for this project.
Okay, so
Not
once
any-
the,
So when there will be some excess, and that can be applied somewhere else.
okay, so once this project's done, the Fund 29 is pretty much going to be
Correct.
used up?
Yes.
And that was what its
It
intention
served
was?
its purpose.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed.
And you can see that estimate in your budget.
Yep, yes, ma'am. I just wanted to make sure it's public for everybody to hear. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Council, about a motion. Let me suggest a motion to you.
Okay.
I'm going to suggest you a motion that you award, excuse me, let me find. That you award the FM 156 5.76 MGD pump station improvement project to Haney Leadership Group, doing business as A&V Water, for the amount of $5,230,714.20, and also approve $366,150 for 7% construction contingency, and $156,921 for 3% construction admin, PM, and inspection.
I so move, except 19 cents, not 20 cents.
Did I say 19?
No, I'm just making a
Did
joke.
I say 19?
I'm just making a joke.
It's a joke?
Just a joke.
Good.
I so
Is
move
there a
as you-
second?
Yes.
All in favor? Oh, wait, is there any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
All right. 8H, discuss, consider, and act to award a contract to MHB Construction, Inc. for the Hassett Community Park Memorial Garden Improvements Project in the amount of $112,576.88, plus 2 bids.
Greg, will you bring up the construction plans? Mayor and council, we're requesting that you approve award a contract to MHB Construction for the construction of a memorial garden improvements. This is a project that the park board desires to see done. This is, they started with a landscape architect that came up with a visual plan, and engineering helped us work out a plan that was capable of being bid, that included, things, drainage and quantifying. We bid this project, and the low bid was with MHB Construction. They've previously done another park project for us. They did the pavilion, the sidewalks, and the shade structures. That was done this last year, as well as the tap shell improvements. The request is to award a contract to them in the amount of $112,567.88. We're also asking to include a contingency amount of 10%, which is $11,256.79. Construction, admin, inspection, and testing services at $15,000 for a grand total of $138,824.67. This would come from the Park Improvement Fund that currently has a balance of $192,017.57. Is there? I think that's. Richard, is there a color drawing in there? I'm not sure if there is or not. All right, you have to go back on that one. It does. It's a refurbish of what is existing. They would remove all the current monuments. They would replace. There'd be a little retaining wall there. It would have flagstone placed in there, as well as memory lane bricks, and they would replace the existing monuments as shown in those with the letters there.
And is this because it's worn down? We want to make it better? We want to make it bigger? Like what?
Makes it bigger and better.
Bigger and better. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Those things. We've never had a full reconstruction of that site. It's never had a very comprehensive one. There's always been issues between paving has never been laid out very well. There's always been vegetation kind of growing through there, and this is the first really revitalization of that. It's in desperate need of it. There's a common maintenance issue, and there's it's been a project that's needed to be done for several years.
So this would be a total rebuild that would be an investment that would last for a long time?
Correct. We feel like this is it's zero-scape, so the maintenance is low. We feel like this would represent a long-lasting solution for the Memorial Garden.
Thank you.
And this was born out of the park board and their desire to improve the memorial garden, and it is taking a greater step. But what you see is work that was headed up by approval process anyway, final design by the park board.
Correct. They worked with the landscape architect to come up with the plan. I think they had a subcommittee on that, but ultimately they approved to move forward with this project. The only request they had was that we work with the existing monument supplier to make sure that those were removed and stored safely. I have reached out with them to see what that process would look like. It is in the scope of this contractor, but we will do our best to make sure that those are handled, as they wish if you approve this.
But also, I would add that both Public Works and UC Engineering were involved with regard to the actual construction, subgrade, the rock, all that layment, to build this as a low-maintenance type garden as possible. And that's been the greatest challenges out there It takes constant maintenance, pulling the grass out and things of that nature. They've done a fine job, park board and everybody involved.
Yes,
James, is this 100, I think you said 12,000, does that include, like install and everything, or is that just the design fees?
no, that's the entire construction of this project.
That's design, construction, turnkey. Okay.
That's correct.
Design's already complete. You've got the design documents here.
I see that. I would just ask if that design fees are pretty high sometimes, so I just making sure that wasn't design fee, or is that construction too? I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
That design fee's already been paid for.
this would be the entire cost to construct this.
Okay. Seems all right.
So was there a separate design fee that was paid previously?
Yes.
Okay, just for some context, because I think Councilmember Horwick was on council, but this was presented to the council, updating the Veterans Memorial Garden, March 3rd of 2025. And there was already an amount brought in. Let me just say, I support this project moving forward, and I appreciate the work that the subcommittee, the Parks Board, city staff did. I do think it's important to note that it's been a year and a half because of delays, and it's resulted in an original cost of $24,160 that the council approved to to over 5 times that amount. But I do think that the finished project is going to look great, but I want that to be on the record.
Very good. Any questions on this? If not, we could have a motion, please. I could suggest another motion. I'll suggest a motion.
I can make a motion, Mayor Holsey. I make a motion to approve to award the contract to MHB Construction Incorporated for the Haslett Community Park Memorial Garden Improvements Project in the additional amount with the 112, but the contingencies of 138,000. What was the change? $138,824.67 to be taken from Fund 15.
I'm going to restate your motion so I get it
Perfect.
correct.
Thank you.
Motion is made to approve or to award this contract to MHB Construction for the Haslett Community Park Memorial Garden Improvements Project for an amount of $112,567.88.
No. 100,
Excuse
no,
me.
incorrect.
Let me finish. That's the award, contract award. Now, there are other funds
Yes.
coming that need to be stipulated in
Oh,
addition.
okay,
to
so-
that. So.
Okay, so I
but
need to say, so
also
the construction
approving
contingency
a
amount of
10%
11,256
contingency.
and the construction.
Excuse me, madam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Excuse me,
I
I'm
thought I
restating.
made the motion. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. So we stipulated the contract amount of $112,567.88.
Correct.
And now we're also stipulating, authorizing a 10% construction contingency amount of $11,256.79, and also approving a 13.3% construction admin inspection testing services of $15,000. That's your motion.
No, and also to take it from Fund 15,
Oh, also be taken from
a
Fund
stipulation that it comes from Fund 15.
15, line item 1578,
Correct.
45-01.
Yes.
I second that.
Okay, the motion, that's your motion, clarified for clarification. There is a second. Any further discussion? Is all in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, council.
Item 8I, discuss, consider, and act regarding the role of Parks Board in the planning and development of city park projects, including the city's parks master plan, community park improvements, Nance field improvements, and other park-related initiatives. Receive a status update identifying current project responsibilities, and provide direction as necessary. Tabled from the July 6, 2026 regular city council meeting minutes. All right, we'll need a motion to untable or to remove this from the table. If you want to discuss it.
It's just removed.
Pardon?
It's just a motion to remove from the table.
Yes.
I make a motion to remove agenda item 8I from the table.
Motion is made to remove agenda item 8I from the table. Is there a second? Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. The agenda item is now up for your discussion. Whose item is this?
It's mine. This is tabled from the.
All right, would you,
Ask the Councilman Morrow, make it where everybody can see her and she can see everybody.
that's correct. Councilmember Morrow. Needs
I'm sorry, yes.
for video and audio. Thank you. All right. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Not really presentation for this one, more of a chance for council to discuss.
Would you
kind of-
like to refresh everybody
that-
and the public?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
To discuss the master plan, whether it's being worked on, when we envision it being worked on again, because it's obviously the plan from 2012, 2022, not accurate anymore. And then also the Hazlet Fire Station Park Concept Plan. So
Well, let me ask, the way this agenda item is very lengthy. So what's the point of this agenda item?
I just
To
said,
discuss the role of the Parks Board in all of this activity? Or discuss these numerous items in this agenda item? Which is it? I take it as we're going to discuss the role of the Park Board.
so it says, receive a status update identifying current project responsibilities and provide direction as necessary. So we are going to talk about Parks Board for these items, but we're also talking about a status update because,
Well, I'm not clear what the agenda item is,
okay.
and we need to be clear on what the agenda items are, so that one for council and for the public. We write these for the public's sake.
It's the same exact agenda item as the last council meeting where
Okay.
we started discussing it.
Maybe that's why we tabled it.
No, we tabled it because we were waiting for Mr. Gilbert to be in
Okay,
attendance.
And Mr. Anderson.
And Mr. Anderson, thank you. So, Mr. Anderson, did you have anything to speak on the concept, or does council want to start at any point? Or if not, I can.
Well, let me just help you guys understand what I've contributed to this project so far. If you go to that park concept plan, please. No,
The other one.
not the master plan. So we had recommended that the city fund a line item to create a park concept plan for the 18 acres behind the fire station so that we could move forward with the design of a sanitary sewer line and a restroom facility along with a public works storage facility kind of behind the corner of Miss Morrow's photo up there. We also needed to we also needed to work to identify the potential location and size of the driveway to access this site, and work that in conjunction with the turn lane determination length for our Blue Mound Road 156 project. And so what we needed to do is figure out estimated number of trips in and out of this facility based on a layout. And so we worked with Councilman Gilbert back in January, February, March timeframe to develop a conceptual layout of the field so that we could move forward with the things that we've been asked to move forward with, in hopes that we could get some better definition on where the restroom and the storage facility could be designed so that they could potentially remain in service throughout the potential development of this property in some manner. Now, what we've got shown here is just the first attempt. This is a conceptual drawing that we've put together, and we've got it more or less ready for input and dissection by whomever wants to be a part of that process. We tried to take advantage of the existing field configuration and the way that the fields are currently utilized as best possible, and then we've added some additional features that have been developed throughout the many years of different conceptual type drawings done on this property going back 11, 12, 13, 15 years. And so what you see before you is just a rendering, and it's not to say this is what needs to be built or has to be built. This is an attempt to show, if you were to orient fields like this, could you work towards providing shade for fields that are currently out there or that may be built in the future? Could we move forward with the location and design of a restroom facility? Can we get James his storage facility? Can we get James his dumpster facility? And make sure that we're doing our best to plan ahead so that we're not building things and having to move them in the future. So there was a line item in the budget for us to move forward with this. I think we spent about $16,000 developing what you see before you out of the $25,000 line item. I did miscode that in my invoices, so that did come out of the $300,000 park master plan line item, so that's my fault. I messed up there. I think one of the next steps was work to help, if you guys would like us to help determine that scope of work for the park master plan update. You go to the other attachment, Richard, maybe the cover. The last park master plan that was done for the city was done back in 2012. It was a good plan, but it just needs to be freshened up and updated. And this is kind of an overall arching plan. You can keep kind of scrolling through it while we're just visiting here. Really, where you go through and you do the surveys and you do all the things to plan for a cohesive, all-encompassing plan for the city and all their different uses and desires. And you know, that level of effort for a park master plan doesn't necessarily give us what we need to move forward with the design of our facilities. And you'll note that this plan doesn't have conceptual drawings for athletic fields and the like. So again, we weren't trying to say this is what has to be built. This just seemed to make sense, and it's set up so that it can be revised pretty easily, right? And we can, whatever ends up coming out of that the city decides this is the concept that we'd like to see at these facilities. Our numbers can adjust from a trip standpoint pretty easily and probably aren't going to be affected much from the driveway and utilities standpoint. So that's what we've been involved with Councilman Gilbert since, I guess, January-ish, somewhere in there. So this document here is really the park master plan, and we've assisted in those. That's not necessarily our forte, but I think we actually helped hook the city up with these folks back in 2005, if I remember right. Good firm, still doing work. So
I think it was back in January when I got asked to work with Mike on this project, since it's kind of my background. And we talked, I believe we talked about focusing more on the sporting complexes right now, and not this 55-page city master plan of all trails and all that. That was going to be tackled at a sooner or later date. I do know that the EDC B-Board, they were wanting to do some trails and do some things, and so I think this would be something that they can work with the Parks Board, on kind of working on some of this. But this is not, this big document here that you're looking at has not been anything that Mike and I have tackled on in the last 7 plus minus months. we just been working on the 2 sporting complexes. But I think this is a good document here, it has some good bones, but I definitely think it could be upgraded with the new neighborhoods and the new stuff that's gone on around town. Back in 2012, we didn't have the neighborhoods all along Blue Mound. So it'd be good to add some trails and some other stuff around that incorporate those into this big document here. So I think this is something that, Mike mentioned earlier to me, that we could contact this company and have them kind of update what we have here now, or our neighborhoods. So I think they've already got a really good start. I don't think it would cost very much, but we do have a lot in our budget for the park master plans, which includes this big document.
Okay, do we want to tackle the parks, the master plan first? Do we want to tackle that item kind of? So is that something as council we want to have the Parks Board move forward on right now?
Well, I can answer. At the last budget workshop, it was brought up when the last time a park master plan had been created. And we were educated that they're not required. I thought they were every 10 years that you had to have them. And I believe it was Mr. Rogers or Mr. Tucker looked into that, and they're not required, but it's good practice. So at that time, it was brought up at the budget workshop, what to spend on a master park plan, and maybe this, Mr. Gilbert is correct, is that we want to make it a smaller piece and just focus on updating or a plan of the fields, some sort of the practice or athletic fields, and then have the Parks Board suggest to them, or that they, at one of their future meetings, tackle that huge master park plan. They've done the survey, which was part of it. And so the next step is to get a master plan done. I believe it's how we kind of approached it after the budget workshop.
So I think to your question, Ms. Wise, we can talk to the Parks Board and say, hey, would y'all like to tackle this in the next coming months?
Yeah, that's the first question is, do we as council want to guide the Parks Board to start getting the master plan going? That's the first question.
Well,
Yes,
it
I
wouldn't be
think the
the
answer is
park
yes.
board that gets the master plan going. It was already, city council's already approved that.
I'm saying direct them to get started on it right now.
Well, they're not the ones that do the master plan.
They are, yes,
They
our
would,
previous
they
one was
would be
the
making
Parks
the
Board.
ones that make a recommendation to have one, but the city
Yes.
council has already done that. And in fact, that was this October the 20th, 2025. Agenda item 8E. It was motion to approve developing a statement of work and request for proposal for hiring a qualified professional firm to develop a comprehensive park plan for Nance Field, a comprehensive park plan for Firehouse Fields, and a Nance Field Park Master Plan and a Firehouse Field Park Master Plan. So you asked for, and that's where that $300,000 came in.
Mayor Halsey?
Yes.
So just as you stated, so we restricted it as a council at that time to only focus on the athletic fields.
I
It
don't
was
have
not
that in the
full
minutes
scope.
anywhere and don't recall.
You just read that. You said
You
Nance
just read
Field and Firehouse Fields.
Ms.
And I
Wise,
have something written down on my notes, yeah.
Okay, so I have the minutes right here. I'm reading from the minutes. So
Correct, yeah, you said it
October
correctly.
2025, you've already given direction.
Right,
direction to do the
focus on the
sporting
athletic
fields.
fields.
Ms. Wise is talking about doing the big 55-page document right here. She's talking about the whole citywide trail system and all that. That's what she's talking about. You just read about the sporting complex, what Mike and I worked on.
All of our boards and us were heavily invested in parks. We have done
Right.
surveys. Our
Yeah,
residents
city
are
parks,
saying that they care about trails, but our current master plan does not work for how the city now looks today. So the question I'm asking, whatever process we need to do, whoever we need to tell. I would assume that the Parks Board would be involved should we get this master plan going, so that when the EDC does want to, type B, does want to work on the trails, we have a plan, we have a vision that they can work towards. Because I know both the Parks Board and the EDC both want parks and trails.
Yes.
What's our vision for it?
And Mr. Schwanke can speak to some of that with regard to trails.
Yeah, the current master land use plan has trails throughout the city.
Correct, but it is outdated. I mean, that has it linking to Caraway and land that we don't even own anymore for some of it.
It follows the roads more or less, and it would go through there, the Caraway area.
Okay, so do we not want to work on the
Oh.
park master plan?
Okay.
Yes, I agree with you, Councilmember Wise.
We're
Is it,
getting
yes, the
caught
first
up
step.
on specifics here, and the point is, do we want to work on the park master plan? Go ahead, Tanya.
So, yeah, so what, yes, I think the next step is for us to recommend to the Parks Board that they, in their next couple meetings, bring back the idea of doing a complete master parks plan. What Mr. Anderson and Mr. Gilbert were directed on that October 20th meeting was to focus specifically on the fields, the athletic complexes, the athletic facilities, and then that will be incorporated into that master park plan. That takes a long time for the, not a
Correct.
long time, but it takes many months. I mean, okay.
Yeah, no, that's the second part of this. I just wanted to tackle the master plan. I understand the direction Councilman Gilbert was given for the Hazlet Fire Station. I think him and
Nance.
Mr. Anderson have done a fantastic job. I think it looks great. I think we need to be including the parks more in it. I don't
Right, so
think-
yeah, the next step is to go to them with the information and get their feedback. But I also agree with you, we need to go on to the next step. That was step one, you're big into phases. That was phase one. Phase two is now taking or suggesting to the Parks Board that they get the master park plan, that's a 10-year plan that's done usually every 10 years, start putting that together. And that last company who we worked with on the Parks Board, I was on the Parks Board then, they did a great job and they're wonderful with what their work, if they still are around.
I'm just failing to understand you. Since I've sat up here, I've been told repeatedly that we need to send items to their respected boards first, and we shouldn't be working around them. But then we've given a council member a park plan to go off, and he's done the concept design without including the Parks Board. I understand he's going to eventually include them, but the question is, why have they not been included to this point? Even just to give their own ideas, opinions, their vision. I mean, we have a Parks Board for a reason. That's all I'm saying. He's done a fantastic job, so has Mr. Anderson. I don't think anything is wrong. I just think we need to get them more involved and involved earlier and make sure they feel like their voices are heard. Because right now the question from more than one person on that board is, why aren't they being involved?
All right, I need to raise a point of order here.
No, this is a part of it.
Excuse me, madam. I'm raising a point of order. I am the chair. You will entertain that. And so I understand, we are discussing the role of the park board, and everything this last discussion point has, the role of the park board in all these different items that precede that the first line. Is that what, I don't know, that's the point of, making a clear agenda item. So that's what I need clarity on before we proceed. Is we are, and to your point, why wasn't this taken to the park board first? So that seems to be a whole discussion point. So it appears to me that we are discussing the role of the park board. That is the topic of this agenda. But they are with regard to these different items. And then with regard to the semicolon, I don't know what a semicolon is doing in an agenda item, is receiving a status update, current project responsibilities, semicolon, and provide direction. Are these individual separate items?
Yes, you can't guide a board to do something without knowing where it currently stands.
But no, you want you're expecting a status in this meeting.
We've already discussed the status.
And you're going to provide direction as necessary to somebody,
The Parks Board.
the Parks Board. So this whole topic, the agenda, is the role of the Park Board. I'm just trying to clarify.
And where the status was. Receive a status update identifying current project.
Okay, so as I understand now, okay, the role of the Park Board, they are consulted prior to any activity. That's true. That is their role. So I'm just trying to.
Mayor Halsey?
I'm trying, yes, just a minute, please. Just move this item along because I just need clarity of where this agenda item is wanting to speak to. So we've talked about the park project, a Pacifics Park project, which is your detailed plan for Nance or for the fire field. And about, okay, now we've gone to the city parks master plan. That should be taken to the park board to let them have input on that master plan. Is that correct?
Right now, we're talking specifically about Firehouse Fields and where that direction will go.
And
In
that
Mansfield.
will be taken to the park board folks for their input and review. That's what I've heard. Yes, okay, Councilman Gilbert's agreeing. Community park improvements, Nancefield, so all improvements to the parks would be taken to the park board, which is the rightful start,
Correct.
yes.
Okay.
Mayor
Tanya,
Halsey?
So
go
that's,
ahead.
we're confirming the agenda item. So this is about the role of the park board. Thank you.
In the status of the items. Go ahead, Tanya.
I just had a quick question. I know when we brought it up on
Excuse me,
October.
madam. I do want to make a point. You're not the chair.
Oh,
I'll recognize the speaker.
Okay. Can you please move on?
That is appropriate, and when I have understanding what that agenda item is. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
my question is on the October 20th meeting, we talked about how many plans had been put together already behind Firehouse Fields and Summit Nance. And my question is for Mr. Anderson or Mr. Gilbert. Did you get access to all of those and have that information when you were creating this new concept?
Yes, ma'am. I went to Mike Anderson's office and he had a big table and he showed me him and I looked at the master plans from last 15, 20 years, a long time. And we looked at multiple renditions and we took those and kind of tweaked them and made it our own of things we liked and we kind of thought it would work better for the fire station fields behind there. There was really nothing for the Nance, so
Nothing Nancy, okay.
there's never been a master plan for the Nance field, and so we have taken that and that field is that master plan is done from scratch, but the fire station fields that has been done kind of tweaked from other versions from years past. So yes, Mike had
Okay,
all
thank you. I
those.
was just good, making sure y'all had all the
those, so that was
information.
great to have those to look at.
And I think there is a little bit of confusion with the term master plan being used for both things. Yeah, y'all worked on a plan for Nancefield and a plan for Firehouse Field. It's not the park in the city of Haslett master plan that is a lot more comprehensive. But I would agree, I think we need to direct Parks Board to look into that. It's a great idea.
Look into what?
The park master plan.
Okay.
My question then, I guess, I feel like we all agree on park master plan and moving that forward to the Parks Board, but Haslett Fire Station park concept plan, I just think we need to include them more in the conversations.
Okay, so what date, Mr. Gilbert, do you think you're going to take it to the Parks Board, you and Mr. Anderson? How much longer until that's going to be presented to them?
Mike and I are maybe going to try to meet next week, depending on both of our schedules, to look at some stuff that's going on with that, some changes. And I'll talk with Mike about that. I'm maybe hoping to take it to them in August, September, trying to see kind of how things go. But that is on our plan to take it to them to get their any
Input,
changes,
feedback, right,
changes, feedback,
changes.
whatever they have. And so I was going to take some big printed out copies And so that way they could all look at it and see, not just on a screen. I know that'd be a lot easier to look at.
Perfect, thank you.
And to make them, I would let them redline it and, kind of what all they would like to do.
All right. On here, we have, sounds like we've talking about the park board, everyone is resolved. The park board needs to start out with the park board on these different items. But you're going to take your fire field plan to the park board for them to review and comment on. And that likewise, the community park improvement and a citywide park improvement plan needs to be initiated, and they would be the proper folks to initiate that. And I think we are, I am at the first semicolon, and it says other park-related initiatives. So I would assume it's any park-related initiative starts with the park board, asking for their input.
Yeah, I guess that's the final piece of this, is just for the future, when we're beginning a parks project, just, we're starting with the parks board. That's.
Yes, I mean, at the, I don't want to say this like ad nauseum, but yes, after the last budget workshop, there were a few things that were done out of order that I believe
Yes.
every single person is aware of, is trying to correct, to learn from, the subcommittees, the cross committees with different boards. So that, yeah, there's some things that I mean, got it. I think it's being worked on. It's just something that's not going to happen overnight. But we all see the need for that to be improved.
Correct. Any council member
All right.
disagree?
The next sub-item that we have here is receive a status update identifying current project responsibilities.
We already did that.
Okay, project responsibilities being
Meaning,
Councilman Gilbert
Yes.
and Anderson.
yes, they're continuing, they've already said they're going to continue.
Okay,
They're gonna
and
take it.
the provide direction as necessary, okay, to who?
To whoever necessary. In this case, not really provided direction, but we all just agreed that Mr. Anderson and Mr. Gilbert are going to take it to
The
the
park
Parks
board.
Board
Okay,
by September,
all right.
Hopefully, yeah.
I
hopefully.
think we've covered all these items. Is there an action that you want to take, or you have reached a understanding of what to do?
Do we need to take an action to guide the Parks Board to begin the Parks Master Plan, or?
To contact the people that
Yeah.
did this in 2012.
I think we'd probably need to do
You've
that
already
'cause-
made that in October to solicit, to develop a scope of work in developing these master plans.
That was not for the full master plan. That was only for the athletic facilities.
That was for Nance Field and for Firehouse Fields.
Correct.
Yes, you're correct.
Mr. Mayor, I think we would need to direct the Parks Board to begin the process, but we would also need to allocate some money for that or expect them to use their money. I mean, the money's got to come from somewhere for the park
We have
master
some.
plan, so.
We
I know
have-
we
But it
do.
all comes from
Parks
the
Board
general
does it too.
fund.
I know, but they have it in their they have a budget.
They have a budget, but they don't have a parks master plan.
So maybe what we need to do,
Is
They have a
that we
park
can get
improvement
some
fund.
estimate, idea of what to allocate.
Right.
And,
Yeah,
but
there's
is
plenty
to inform the park board
Councilman
that
Wise,
city council to suggest they initiate or recommend a city park master plan.
yes, that's what I was saying.
We do have a current line item on the general fund for the Parks Master Plan,
But we have,
different from the Firehouse Fields.
yes, but we don't have any idea how much it would actually cost. So maybe we should direct the Parks Board to get some estimates and come back to us?
Yeah, and definitely, I would think direct them to communicate with the original developers for the master plan. I believe, Mr. Schwenke, did you say they're still in business? Someone did.
MHS.
Yeah, I think they should definitely be one of the people we contact to
Sure.
see, since they've worked on it previously.
But why don't we direct the Parks Board to get some estimates and come back?
And scope of work,
Yeah.
yeah, scope of work.
All that.
Estimates, and come back to council. Tanya?
Yep, let's move on.
All right.
Sounds great.
Do we have a motion?
I don't even know where to start with that.
Do we need a motion?
Need a motion. I mean, I heard a lot of discussion here, direct this, direct that.
Okay.
I need a motion.
Okay, I'll take a shot. I make a motion to direct the Parks Board to develop a scope of work for the city parks master plan and reach out to different companies for estimates, including the company from the original master plan.
Very good. Motion made is to direct the Park Board to develop a scope of work and for the city park master plan and to reach out to multiple planners or firms, as well inclusive of the previous firm who has developed the city park master plan,
And bring it back to council.
and bring it back to council. All right, is there a second?
I'll second that.
There is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Eight J, reconsideration of resolution 10-2026, a resolution censuring Mayor Gary Halsey for repeated failure to follow city council direction. And I have some materials I'd like to pass out to you, city council.
Will I be receiving them or the citizens online as well?
No, ma'am.
Say that again.
I was wondering if this is going to be presented on the screen to myself and the
No.
citizens?
No,
No, okay.
I didn't know you weren't going to be here, nor did I
The,
know.
the the citizens though, they usually watch.
Secretary. All right, council, I sent this back to you. I object to this censure for several different reasons. And primarily, it relies on the assignment of powers and duties. You're asking why the mayor doesn't utilize the city administrator or respect the council's desire that the mayor do so. And the gist of that goes back to the city administrator, the powers and duties assigned to this position are that of a city manager. And that's a violation of the local government code 22.072B. Also, with regard to that, local government code 51.002, that is unenforceable. So I have 1, 2, and 3. I suggested in my letter to you that you go study these. And the materials that I've given you, first page is section 22.072. It's underlined, section B. The governing body may prescribe powers and duties of a municipal officer appointed or elected in office whose duties are not specified by this code. And they're talking about the entire code. Now, if you look, the next item I have in here is the ordinance and the job description. If you flip over to page, I believe it's about the 5th page in the document, it is city administrator job description. It states, is responsible for the proper administration of all affairs of the city of Haslett. And that position reports to the city council. Well, if we could go to the next sheet of paper, which is one sheet, section 25.029, powers and duties of a city manager. City manager shall administer the municipal business and the governing body of the municipality ensure that the administration is efficient. That says the same thing of this job duty that you gave to a city administrator. You can't do that, according to state law. According to state law, you can't. With regard to that, the next sheet is section 51.002. Ordinances and rules inconsistent with state law prohibited. As a governing body of a municipality, you may adopt, enforce, and maintain an ordinance or rule only if the ordinance or rule is consistent with state law. What has here happened in this ordinance is not consistent with state law. It's just not, it's not. Understand that laws get in our way. It gets in everybody's way every day. But there is a way and a procedure to do these things. That is at the heart of this, and always has been. And I have made multiple writings that's been available to you, addressed specifically to the city council, and it's been available to the public. But I'll call your attention to a memorandum written by our city attorney, Jeremy Page, on June 11, 2025. It's in your package. It's the last document. Mr. Page, on page 3 under analysis, he reiterates those same items, those same sections I mentioned to you. With regard to, you can assign duties, but not if they're already given to a different position by this code, such as city manager. The only way you get to a city manager is to have an election. That's, with regard to state statutes, it is the city administrator or the city attorney's job. They are required to counsel you with regard to state law. Their advice to you is what you can do and what you can't do is all bounded by state law. On the last page, page 4, is a pretty good conclusion of it. He has it bolded accordingly. The city of Haslett has no authority to remove or otherwise interfere with statutory duties of the mayor, including those set forth on page 3, but also he goes into further explanation. You should read and study this, but also study these code sections. And I have mentioned multiple times, this is a big question. It's been a big issue here in the city, or with this city council, rather. And I've stated, and even the local government code tells you how to, in the administrative code, it tells you how to resolve these kinds of issues. Take it to court. Let a judge decide. City attorneys don't decide these things. City councils cannot pass ordinances and rewrite state law or usurp state law. Take it to court. It's worthwhile. Take it to court. Let a judge decide. I will ride happily But as I read it, also as the administrative code tells us, you read these things, it means what it says. That's the issue. And you're asking me to, when I read something that's in black and white, well, you can't do that. And I'm saying, honor the state of Texas statutes, which are state law. That is state law, every one of them. Some of them carry, are just, you know, they're civil in nature. Some are that it's no criminal offense. This item here, there's no criminal offense, you know, for violating it. But that, with Attorney General opinions and umpteen other items, you can't do this. You should not be doing this if you're going to honor state statute. That's my whole point.
Mayor Holsey,
Yes.
can we ask the city attorney that is present tonight to comment on whether Haslett is doing anything illegal with having a mayor council form of government and also having a city administrator role?
As it is defined now, giving the city administrator the power and duty of a city manager.
So could you please comment on that,
That's what is
please?
defined. So, did you hear that, sir?
Yes, Mayor, I did, and I'll answer Councilmember Morrow's question. There is an AG opinion, JC 0544, related, in fact, to the city of Haslett from 2002. The AG opined in that opinion that it is not on its face illegal to have a city administrator. Being careful about terms, I'm using the term city administrator, not a city manager. In relation to a city administrator, that opinion also opined that the roles of the city administrator cannot directly conflict with a statutorily assigned duty given in the local government code to a mayor or a city manager.
So that opinion, that JC 05444 states that you cannot give the duties to
Again,
of a city manager
I would posit, Mayor, also that Attorney General opinions are guidance. They do not have the specific power of enforceable law. It is the Attorney General's opinion as to the law. A summary of that opinion very briefly stated that it is not illegal to have a city administrator in a type A general law city. That opinion, the question presented was as to whether the mayor, a city administrator may take on the duties of a budgetary officer. So that is what was answered specifically in that AG opinion. I would just advise that the city would want to avoid the instance where there is a direct conflict with, for example, the duties of a budgetary officer and the city administrator.
What about the duties of a city manager and a city administrator? That's the other, there's two items there, budgetary and the duties of a city manager under 25, section 25.
I actually found the same Attorney General opinion that you did while you're pulling that up. And I actually read the whole thing. A summarization of it, which you're free to pull it, is that we're not a city manager form of government. We have mayor, council. And so what is important and vital is that we're not giving the city administrator specific duties that are defined in the government code to be only yours, like the budget officer. We have not removed those duties from you to him. That's where we would then be violating the law.
But no, there is another violation. There is a violation.
There currently
The
is not.
administering of the city's business.
We can assign, as council,
Well,
you,
it says, the state law says you can't do that.
It does
You
not say
cannot-
that.
It does.
it does not, because we do not have a city manager. If we had a city manager, we would then be removing duties
No,
from.
it says you cannot assign the duties that are already assigned by this statute to someone else.
If we were a city manager.
No, there's no if in there. It
Okay.
doesn't, the word if's not there.
Legal.
Okay, and I would also just, for reference of the council's consideration, first I would just, remind the council that there's an item before you for revisiting this censure motion back from July 6th. In consideration of that item, just for the language of what is posted, that's for voting on the resolution that was passed.
Right.
I would,
So it's not appropriate right now. I mean, that's a different topic you're getting off into. Is that what you're trying
no,
to
sir,
say?
that's not what I said.
Can you
Okay.
please let our legal advice talk, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me pull up the resolution. I would just advise that the resolution on its face doesn't reference duties assigned to the current city administrator that directly conflict with state law. It just references a reference to the role of the city administrator. The AG's opinion that I referenced explicitly states the existence of a city administrator on its face is not illegal. Therefore, I advise that the resolution from July 6 on its face is not inconsistent with the cited provisions of the Texas Government Code. It doesn't reference any conflicted resolutions. That is what's present before the council tonight for reconsideration based on the mayor's action. And then you had another question, Councilman Wise. I'm sorry. I just wanted to bring that forward first.
No, you've answered my question.
Okay. And then I would also reference in JC 0544, there is a reference to assignment of duties to the city administrator in that instance for employment. There's a secondary reference to another AG opinion. Employment is one of those examples of one of those duties that could be assigned to a city administrator that, for example, is not in direct conflict with a statutorily assigned duty, hiring, firing, administrative. And those fall within the role of administration of a type A general law municipality. Furthermore, section 25.051B, this is for the city manager provision of local government code. This chapter does not limit the authority of the governing body of a general law municipality to appoint and prescribe the powers and duties of a municipal officer or employee under chapters 22, 23, or 24 of the local government code.
That's correct. And the section right below that says what? 22?
Well, it just ends with a period, chapter 22, 23, comma, or 24. And then the next is subchapter D.
Yes, a city council can appoint an officer and those duties of an officer unique to the officers cited in that section, which is the treasurer, the city secretary, the fire, or the marshal, the city attorney, and the city engineer. Those are the officers, and it states more specifically, I can give those duties, I can give the city attorney duties to finance director, the treasurer.
And Mayor, I'm not.
But that's what that is what that section is speaking to specifically, but you're not enumerating that.
I am not, I would like to enumerate, I'm not taking a position adverse to what you're saying. I'm just clarifying in my legal advice to the council can take whatever action is within its prerogative. I'm just clarifying that my advice is that, as stated in AG Opinion JC 0544, it is not illegal on its face for this city to have a city administrator, but you would want to be careful that those duties that are assigned do not directly conflict with statutory duties assigned in local government code. One of those
To
examples.
a city manager or anybody else.
The AG opinion says a mayor or a city manager.
Right. So that's the point. What has been scribed to the city administrator are those duties, and it's word for word of a city manager.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
we continue to have this argument in over and over and over, but what I think you also missed is the first three things on this censure had nothing to do with city administrator. It's you appointed yourself without telling anybody to be a voting representative for Texas Council of Governments. You submitted an authorization for the city council subsequent that correspondence on behalf of city without prior authorization of city council. And you conducted foreign trade zone communications without including the city administrator after being directed by city council to do so.
Okay. Well, one, I'm not going to honor the city administrator position, period.
That's fine. We
Okay.
can just vote and
But
we
we
can,
understand that.
So-
I mean,
yeah,
so
so we
I'll
can just
take
vote
you
and go
back
home.
to the resolution. Your
Can I note one
agenda
more?
item
Can I
here is
note
the
one?
reconsideration of the resolution.
Can I note one item? And I think
Yes.
Chris made a great point, is this was not about the city administrative position. This wasn't about even whether you want to recognize it or not. It's about the fact that you continually make unilateral decisions and disregard council direction. It's a reoccurring theme across
everything.
everything. So the issue before the council is accountability to the governing body and adherence to its lawful direction. And I just think we need to continue on with that. And as you've stated to us, if you have a problem with what council has done or been directing you to do, you can also take it to court.
So I would like to move that we do not reconsider the resolution.
Motion is made not to reconsider the resolution. Is there a second?
I second.
There is a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me.
Its motion passes.
Hold, wait.
Legal.
So, section 52.003C.
It's a little late for that.
I'm sorry?
You moved fast.
No, you can't reconsider the two items in one meeting.
What?
You've made your ruling.
So, subsection.
Yes, but go ahead and mention what you want to say.
Was there a vote on the motion?
Yes. It was motion, seconded, and they voted. The section he's referring to, he says, you shall reconsider it. You've denied to reconsider it.
What was the motion?
Motion was from Mayor Pro Tem Morrow. No, it was from Councilman.
So motion
Carruthers,
repeated?
is not to reconsider the resolution.
I would advise the council to look at section 52.003, subsection C. The mayor does return it. You must, you shall on the return reconsider the vote. So you do have to vote on this resolution. But if a majority, and I'm just reading the law says if a majority of the total number of members of the governing body, excluding the mayor, approve the ordinance or resolution on reconsideration and enter the votes in the journal of the governing body's proceedings, the ordinance or resolution may take effect.
So just the chair didn't educate us correctly on the steps. We do need to reconsider and then
You
no.
do have to reconsider that.
And that's the
Okay.
chair's responsibility.
And you could take that action again.
Okay.
Under Robert's Rule of Order, we can do the same item twice. It's been voted on once in one meeting.
Mayor, I'm advising the council to review section 52.003 subsection C.
What
So
we
you
did-
purposely didn't.
Excuse me, did you read this? It says right here.
What we did is null and
City
void because it
Council, the
wasn't
statement
correct.
of objection serves to fulfill the requirements of Texas Local Government Code 52.003C.
Twice in one meeting. We voted on it once just now.
But what the lawyer is saying is we didn't do it correctly, so what we did was not.
What is it that I did incorrectly?
Did the
Everything.
chair,
You didn't read the motion back. The motion wasn't read back. Was it, Mr.
Yeah.
Crothers? Was your motion read back?
It was
Number
read
one.
back.
No, he said
I
as
don't know, it went so
motion.
fast.
Yeah, he did, he approved it so fast that the lawyer even tried to speak up, and it wasn't possible. It's almost like you were
Okay, then
intentionally.
I'd
You know
say we
what?
take the
Do
lawyer's
you
opinion
have-
to,
What is incorrect? Someone made a statement that this is incorrect.
What is
I
incorrect?
informed you with a letter. It says, the statement of objection serves to fulfill the requirements of Texas Local Government Code 52.003C. Approval by a mayor and related conditions for ordinances to take effect. That is the section title. I don't believe there's anything incorrect here. Is that maybe you
So-
didn't read section 52?
As the chairperson, and I know you've done this several times where you tell us you have to stop, you have to take this next step, you need to reconsider and then do it. So why didn't you voice that?
Voice what?
That we are required to reconsider?
So, city lawyer.
He doesn't know.
Sorry, I don't know your
You know.
name.
Yeah.
Tell me back.
Chase Craig.
Chase Craig?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Craig, so what we just did was null and void because we didn't do it correctly. We need to do it the
The law
correct way.
requires that you, essentially, the subsection C of 52.003 requires that excluding the mayor, the council has to vote if the mayor filed the statement of objections before the fourth day.
So the correct wording would be,
So it's requiring that you shall on return reconsider the vote, and then if a majority of the total number of members of the governing body, excluding the mayor, approve the ordinance. So in other words, if you wish to approve the ordinance or resolution as it was passed on January 6th, then that would be a vote in favor of approval of the ordinance upon reconsideration.
so that's how
Okay.
our motion needs to be worded.
So upon
If
reconsideration.
that's your prerogative.
Did you
Okay.
read this section?
I do have one more question, sorry. So we've done a lot of these reconsiderations, and I believe we all understand the mayor can object to a resolution or ordinance within the time frame when it comes back to us. And so I guess I feel like I need guidance I thought what Mr. Crowther said was correct and we voted on was to not approve the reconsideration. Is that not correct, what we said?
We said we're not going to reconsider. We have to say upon reconsideration, we
Affirm.
Or I thought we,
affirm our
Or I thought
previous
we-
decision.
Yes.
I thought we would say that we just didn't approve the reconsideration. That's what we've done in the past.
You
I
have
thought.
to approve the reconsideration, but you don't, like, as in, you have to say you reconsidered it, is what the attorney is saying.
You must reconsider it. That's
Right,
what
it
the
was
statute
added on the
says.
agenda,
So may I
it was
make a
posted in
motion?
time, so we did
let me
reconsider
finish.
it.
We don't vote on it.
So
We do.
I clearly notified you of the statutory requirement.
You didn't, you said we will reconsider the vote, not you must. Will and must it's difference in language.
It is sufficient to tell you this is in accordance with the requirements of Texas Local Government Code 52.003C.
So the council does have to reconsider the proposed resolution that was previously voted on. The council does not have to approve that upon
That's correct.
reconsideration, or the council does not have to deny it on reconsideration. There does have to be a vote upon
The
reconsideration.
council has made a motion, seconded, and voted not to even reconsider it. What I will do is I will bring this up on the next city council meeting.
Oh, my,
No, you,
no.
No,
this is
excuse me.
crap again.
It's in your Robert's Rule of Order. Once you have voted on an item, you don't reconsider it the same meeting.
legal, because this was not done correctly and we were not properly guided by the chair, do we have the authority to fix our error?
That's foolishness. That is absolute foolishness to make the claim that you were not
Legal.
properly informed
Well, he tried
of
to
your
say
duty.
something and you moved forward.
I would advise to reconsider in accordance with section 52.003C.
So I'd
Well,
like to make,
let me ask legal a question. Have you
motion.
read this?
Yes.
he has a law degree.
Well, it doesn't mean he read it.
He has a law degree. This is his,
Excuse me. So
area of
I'm not,
practice.
so that first sentence up there, is that sufficient notification? Could I've said something different?
Will and must are different.
I'm not going to advise on whether or not, I don't really know what you mean by sufficient notification in reference to whether it's notification.
I'm notifying the
I'm-
statement of objection serves to fulfill the requirements of Texas Local Government Code 52.003C.
Mr. Craig, I'm sorry you're having to do all this.
So that, as to your letter on its face, if you were intending to notify that section 52.003C applies to the reconsideration that you were requesting, it notifies that section 52.003C applies. And
Yes,
theref-
and then the last sentence before it says, you will reconsider this.
and that is what I advise the council.
So I'd like to make a motion.
And contrary to, I thought you had a resolution, I know you did, resolution adopting Robert's Rule of Order. You are not aware of that one?
You literally we haven't followed Robert's Rule of Order
Yes, you have.
to precisely this entire meeting.
Yes.
Mr. Craig, so you're saying we vote on it again, or we consider it, we vote on it, but if we're voting on it, does that mean we're wanting to, we're agreeing with him, or is that how, I'm just trying to understand that.
I think
said-
that the law requires that you cannot vote to not reconsider it.
So
You
our
do
vote
have to
was not
reconsider
valid.
it. You
Right.
do
Which is why
tonight-
we can redo the vote
Okay.
in
That's
the
what I'm
correct
advising. I'm
language.
advising that you do have to insert
It
your
does.
vote.
It says, you will do this. You don't have any choice.
Okay, so then that's what
But
we're,
you made a choice not to.
There was
But
not-
go, you know
our
what?
legal tried to say something and you sped through
I
it.
did not. I did not.
He was saying, wait.
Well.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that upon reconsideration, we have decided to deny to uphold the original resolution of censure. Is that correct way to say it?
If that's what your prerogative is. I'm not advising you on what motion to make.
But is it the correct verbiage?
Yeah, if you, upon reconsideration, if you're moving to uphold the resolution as
Yes.
passed, upon reconsideration, you move to.
I'll
approve.
restate the motion. Motion is made upon reconsideration. Now, I want to stipulate, I don't agree with, this is contrary to Robert's Rules of Order. I'm just clarifying for what you thought you said.
So noted.
The council reconsiders resolution, the objection, and approves resolution 10-2026. Is that what your motion was? You approved 10-2026?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second to that?
I second.
There is a second. All in favor?
Wait, we've got
Yes.
everything correct. All right, just want to double check.
All in favor? All in favor? Mayor Pro Tem?
Aye.
It's unanimous, 5-0.
4-0.
4-0.
4-0, that's correct. I do want to make a point, too. You have a responsibility to study this and understand it. If you don't, then you ask a question, and it's clear that you don't. You have that responsibility to this body up here, the governing body of the city of Haslett, Texas, and to these people sitting out here and online, and anybody in these city limits.
And you have the
That's your-
responsibility to listen to direction as well.
I do when they're legitimate.
There
And
are multiple
if they are
legitimate
not
things that are
legitimate,
brought
then
up
you
here.
take corrective action.
As the mayor, you should also, you're responsible to guide.
I did guide
But
you.
you-
I provided more than what I need to. There is nothing in state law says I had to provide,
You
tell
knew-
you what section.
You knew what you were
And
doing.
all I can do is say, should I come to your homes or get on the phone and read you the section?
Just like you do any other time, if we start speaking incorrectly when we're moving a motion, you make a correction. And you just chose this one time not to speak up?
No, I don't. You know, I'm not going to spoon feed you.
Thank you.
All right. There's no executive session. We have nothing item there, so 10 is mute. Future agenda items, those are listings, those are coming up. With that, item 12, I adjourn this meeting at 10:38 p.m.
This conference is no longer being recorded.